In the world of podcasts, there's a fine line between law and chaos. And two men actually walk that line finely. And that's Morgan and Dutch. And this week, it's the other guys.
Welcome to Quotable, bitches.
Good afternoon, everybody. This week we are covering one of our favorite movies. We have watched it time and again.
I almost lost my shit, man. I mean, we're gonna keep it rolling, but dude, after you did your intro, I almost just died laughing.
I have no offense to our listening audience whatsoever. I mean, but hell, when you quote movies, I mean, you got to expect something like this.
Well, I mean, because I'm sitting here thinking of how I can respond to it, and I couldn't get anything out. And it is fantastic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is actually take two, and I just wanted to give them the full disclosure because for some reason, similar to when we recorded episode 1, our recording was almost 3 hours. That's just not acceptable.
I know, it really felt like 3 days. Almost.
Yes, so it didn't feel like that long to us, but to the listeners.
Yeah. And we know that a good portion of you guys thoroughly enjoyed this quality content, but I wouldn't expect or even ask any of you to stick around for three hours to listen to it, to a movie that takes an hour and 47 minutes to watch.
I kept looking at the time as we were recording, and I'm seeing, okay, we're at an hour and a half now. Where are we at in the movie? Yeah, we can knock it out in half an hour. Nope.
Yep.
Not even close.
Not even a little.
No, but I mean, what are you going to do? Stop and start over at that point? No, we powered through, and it just wasn't up to par.
Yep. Nope.
So
we demand just okay.
We encourage it and mostly demand it. But no, we want to keep it at a reasonable length because we want to be respectful of your time.
Yep.
So let's just jump into it.
Yep, 2010's classic, Will Ferrell, Mark Walberg. We're talking about the other guys.
And I know we said we weren't going to do 2 Will Ferrell movies in a row, but I kind of put Dutch on the spot when we recorded the last one, and it's just the first thing he could think of. But you know what? I don't mind. Like I said, I have no problem doing multiple Will Ferrell movies in a row.
Yeah, no, neither do I. I mean, but yeah, well, I mean, my mind drew a blank. I couldn't even think of a good lie. I just kind of winged my way through it.
Right. And we're not going to record the last episode just so we could tease a different movie.
Yeah.
That's just nonsense.
So this movie starts off with the same exact line on how our introduction started off, is that you have Ice-T that narrates, and his narration starts off, in New York City, there's a fine line between law and chaos. And then the guys that walk that line are Danson and Highsmith, which are played by Dwayne Johnson and Samuel L. Jackson. They are chasing these three, and you don't really know what they are, because when we looked it up in the credits, they're just credited as Rastas. Mm-hmm. So they're Rasta 1, Rasta 2, and Rasta 3. So
yeah, they're in the middle of a high-speed car chase, and Dwayne Johnson's character
is on the roof of the bad guy's car.
Right, and then they pull out guns, and they start shooting at him through the roof of the car.
Yeah.
And he jumps off to the hood of
Highsmith's car, which is an old SS Camaro.
Beautiful car.
Beautiful
by the way.
Hey, ding the hood.
Yeah, he jumps.
Of course, what did you expect? The Rock weighs 280 pounds. I mean,
on a light day.
I know, I would call it a little bit more than a ding.
You ding my hood. But then he climbs in through the window so they can continue pursuing said perps.
Yeah. And through a lot of gunfire, their hood actually flies up over their windshield. And unbeknownst to them, there is an accident that has ensued up in front of them because a truck went sideways. Some pallets flew off because it was trying to avoid the Rasta's cars.
And in the middle of this intersection is one of those double-decker tour buses.
Yeah. And, you know, he ramps the the pallets into the tour bus. And I just love it because he's sitting there just totally unfazed by it. He's just like, did someone call 911? Holy shit. So the only logical thing that they could do is, well, continue the car chase using the double-decker bus that now has an SS Camaro.
Right, because they don't have it
inside of it.
They really don't have any other way to get the car out, so let's just continue the chase on the bus.
Exactly. So the driver's like, forget it. I've had it with this. So they get out. All of them have sub-automatic machine guns and everything, and they're firing at this double-decker bus. Dwayne Johnson tells everyone, hold on, speeds up, slams on the brake, fishtails it, slams into a cab, which forces the Camaro out that Samuel L. Jackson's still inside of. And as he's flying through the air in slow motion, you hear in slow motion while he's firing his guns, "You have the right to remain silent, but I want to hear you scream." Hits their car, which immediately explodes, which I don't understand because he hits the top of the car.
Yeah. There's nothing explosive on the top.
Then flies into what looks like a high-priced jewelry clothing store, and that immediately blows up.
Right. But what's weird is like right before the car unwedges itself from inside the bus, it looks like Highsmith pushes on the brake, which I thought was weird. Like, how would the car go forward if he's braking? But it's in the script.
Yep.
What can you do?
It's time to flip script.
Yeah. Yeah.
So...
he walks away from that unfazed too.
Yeah. Well, and then it goes to their press conference outside, and you have all these people cheering, laughing, and I guess they're there getting their medals for bravery or what have you. And you have Rick Grayson who tells them, "Hey, Rick Grayson, New York Observer, online." He's so upset by that.
He's embarrassed that it's not the print edition.
Yeah, he was like, oh, well, they were only caught with a 1/4 pound of marijuana, which is a misdemeanor in some states. Like, does this justify $12 million in property damage? And they don't answer the question. They're just, hey, let's just ask the greatest city on earth, New York City. So,
of course, this gets everybody cheering.
Yeah, I mean, that's how New Yorkers are, man. They're proud to be New Yorkers.
Yeah, and then another female reporter.
Yeah, Sarah Gapone.
She chimes in with Detective Danson.
Yeah.
Is it true? Are the rumors true? Oh yeah,
I love how she introduces herself. She's like Sarah Gapone, TMZ print edition.
But yeah, we wish that she would have glanced over at
Rick Grayson.
Yeah,
like I'm that much better than you.
Yes, we're the real deal. It's not your fake news.
Yeah.
But no, she says, Danson, are the rumors about you and was it Kim Kardashian true?
No comment. But yes.
And then it cuts. You see a hot dog vendor, behind the crowd.
Danson and Highsmith.
It's like
free hot dogs for life.
And then everybody starts cheering about that, and he's like, "No drinks,
no drinks,
no drinks.
I can't do it. I can't do it." Like that's what's going to bankrupt them.
That's it. I mean, because how often do you think they're going to frequent a hot dog stand?
Yeah. So then it shows Danson and Highsmith walking into the squad room, and that's when they're kind of introducing everyone. You got Martin and Fosse, who's played by Damon Wayans Jr., and Rob Riggle, and he. As Ice-T's introducing them, he was like, you got your tough guys and your ball busters. And then it shows Michael Keaton, the captain of the entire squad. And he's like, you got your vets. And then it pauses on Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, who play
in the
Gamble
background
and Hoyts. And it circles their face. And he's like,
and
the other guys. From there, it shows... Danson and Highsmith, and they're giving their little speech to the squad room, and he's telling them all like tonight Butter is like, which we guess is a club.
Yeah,
in
it
New
sounds
York.
like some high end club probably.
Yeah, and he says that Brody Jenner's gonna be there. Bai Ling. He's like that little short bitch from Jersey Shore. He's like, and most of you are on the list. So everyone's kind of happy about that.
And I'm trying to think back, like in 2010, was Jersey Shore even still relevant?
I'm not sure. Just in my my watching schemes, it was never relevant.
Well, yeah.
So
well, yeah.
Yeah, so they're doing that introduction and everything, and then
Danson, he talks about he starts talking about a story.
Well, it was funny because he's talking and he says he's like, this is a story about a man who came over from Austria. He's like, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's like, let me finish. He was like, he became a champion and then a movie star, and he's like, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's like, God damn it, let me finish. He's like, they ruined the story. You just ruined the story. So. So basically what they're trying to say is, like they couldn't do what they do if it wasn't for the guys that sit around in the office and do all the meaningless shit that they don't want to do, like answering the phones and paperwork.
Do the paperwork, all the sex with women that we don't want to have, but we have to.
It's like it's all due to you guys.
Oh, and then Alan, we do it again. He's like, hey, if I want to hear you talk,
I'll shove my arm up
your ass and work your mouth like a puppet.
So they end up leaving, and then it cuts to where it introduces some other characters like Pamela Boardman, who is the CEO of Lindell Global, which you come to find out, they play kind of a key part in this movie, but they don't really talk about them all that much. And she's getting ready to ring the bell to open up the stock market for the day. And she is with Sir David Ershon, who's her financial advisor. And while she's up there, she's just kind of talking to him a little bit. And she's like, how much did we lose? And he's like, 32.
She's like, million?
No, billion.
So as she presses the bell for the stock market.
Yeah, she's furious. Just yells shit.
Yeah. But nobody seems to notice.
No, because the bell's ringing, and that's all they care about.
Of course, cuts back to the office, and
it cuts to the group therapy session.
But Captain Gene, when he's giving the paperwork, who says who's going to do the paperwork?
Yeah, the paperwork.
Because that happens before the stock market thing, right?
Yeah, and the paperwork scene is just when he's talking about it, and he's like, this paperwork's like Bob's wife here. It's thick. It's ugly. It's got Danson's fingerprints all over it. It's like, no offense, Bob.
He's like, it's all right.
That's fine.
But it's the paperwork for the case that Danson and Highsmith were working, and they're not going to do it because they're hot shots, and they think they're better than that. So that's when Alan chimes in. He says, I'll do it.
Yep.
I'll do it.
Yep. Hey, Paper Bitch and Yankee Clipper on the case.
I'll do it.
So the Yankee Clipper thing comes into when they're in the group therapy session. It's funny because you got Jimmy, who works in the same office as Hoyts and Gamble, which is Mark Walberg and Will Ferrell. And he's talking about how he took down some triad gang members in Chinatown. He's like, I popped 2 off at the draw. Bang, bang. And then he was like, and then I stand up. And there's another guy in there. And he's just like, oh, shit, I feel like I'm there now. He's like, and then my partner, I hear a whistle. And my partner's up on the roof. It's like, let's even the odds. Tosses me down a Mossberg pump shotgun. And I send one through his chest. Game over, bitches. And then he sits down and everyone's just like, yeah. And the therapist is trying to make this serious. She's like, this is very serious. It's about, discharging your firearm in the line of duty. And she's like, how did that make you feel? And he's just like a Viagra pill with a face.
I know. That's tempting.
You want to show off for your buddies.
You want to impress your friends.
Yeah. So then she was like, Officer Hoyts, do you want to share? And everybody immediately just
starts
like
groaning. He's like, no,
I'd rather not. And
she's like, coming here for 6 months.
Yeah, she's like, this is a judgment-free zone. And then Jimmy immediately puts in douchebag. It's like, that's judgment, Jimmy. That is judgment. So he starts talking about it, and he, tells the story. Yeah,
she forces him to talk about it.
And he's like,
I relive it every night.
Yeah, I relive it every night. He's like, it's October, Bronx World Series, and I pulled tunnel duty. He's like, so I'm there. Out of nowhere, I see a shadowy figure come down the hall. He's like, I told him to stop. But he's like, he kept coming. He's like, so I pulled my firearm. And he's like, I pulled a deadly weapon. And I shot. And then it shows me, he was like, what are you, deaf? He's like, I told you to stop. Well, the guy rolls over and it's Derek Jeter. He's like, I'm Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter, you shot me, you dick.
And then he's like, yeah. He goes, and everyone's like, I think there's another cop's like, he cost me $20,000 on that game. He's like, yeah, it cost the whole city a championship. And then Jimmy's like, because you shot Derek Jeter, you douchebag.
And then
the other guy just sits there.
He's
like,
a biracial angel.
It's like, you should have shot A-Rod. So then we cut to the Castian robbery, which is another kind of key scene in this movie because it comes into play later. So you got 3 guys. One of them takes over a wrecking ball. They break into this, jewelry store. 2 other guys come running in, and they get the call over the radio. Well, Martin and Fosse are getting up, and they're like, all right, we got it. And Hoyts is up, and he's walking. He looks at Gamble, and he's like, come on, we got to go. And Gamble's just like, no, I got work to do.
No, I'm too busy.
Yep, too busy. And he was like, this is work. So then the radio call is answered by Highsmith, and he's like, yo, Danson and Highsmith, we roll in heavy. Sit tight, you cream puffs. So everybody, Martin and Fosse, they're just walking back in because it's like, well, what's the point in going? Danson and Highsmith got this.
It almost seems like Danson and Highsmith answer every single call that comes through the radio. Yeah. Like they're the only cops in New York.
Yeah. So, and then, you got Hoyts, who is incredibly put off by this. He's sitting there saying, he was like, come on, this is bullshit. He's like, no, I am a peacock. You got to let me fly. He goes over, kicks over a water cooler, pushes a typewriter out of the way, kicks it, and just storms out.
And then Fosse, played by Damon Wayans Jr., he's like, did he just call himself a peacock?
So you got Danson and Highsmith who show up, and as the guys are coming out of the store, and Danson's like, hey, Tuesday night's taco night at Rikers Island.
Yeah, these guys start parkouring over the cars in the street.
Yeah.
And Samuel L. Jackson, he's like, get back here, you monkeys.
So they chase him around the corner into a building all the way up to the roof that these guys have set up a zip line, a special forces zip line, to zip line down to a truck.
That's right.
You
give that zip line credit.
You better believe it. So they cut the zip line as soon as everyone's down, and they go to take off. And Danson is telling them, hey, special forces zip line, it's these guys are pros.
Yeah.
So Highsmith looks at him. He's like, you thinking what I'm thinking, partner? And Danson replies, aim for the bushes.
So they fist bump each other, and they proceed to jump off the roof of this building.
Yeah, which it has to be between 12 and 20 stories.
Right, and you see the aerial view straight down to the sidewalk, and there is nothing that could possibly break their fall.
No.
At all.
Well, something did break their fall. It was the sidewalk.
The sidewalk, yes. And then they broke the sidewalk in process.
Yes. So it cuts to their funeral. Well, no, right before they jump off the building is when Martin and Fosse come over, and they're asking Gamble about the paperwork. They're like, yo, you still working on the paperwork for that? And he's like, nah, I'm working on these permits.
Paper
and they're
bitch.
like, paper bitch.
Paper bitch.
Paper bitch.
He's like, I know you guys like that, but I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that. I know you guys think it's funny, but it's not. So then they're getting them to, how come, some of the guys are starting to talk. How come you've never done a desk pop? It's like, what? A desk pop? It's like, what is that? And he's like, hey, you just fire your gun in the office. It's like, yeah, just do that. And he's like, I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to discharge my weapon
in the office at all.
So, and they're like, no. They're like, yeah, no, everybody's done it.
We honor the flag, and you crap on it when you don't fire your weapon in the office.
Hey, Jimmy, when was the last time you had a desk pop?
September 2008.
Yep, come on, be a man. Don't think, just go.
Just do it. Just do it.
So he's like, okay, doing it. Pulls out his gun and just fires straight up in the air.
Everybody else in the office besides Fosse and Martin and Jimmy
Yeah.
all draw their weapons and,
Yeah.
and pointing it at Alan like as if they didn't hear this whole conversation that was going on. It's like
The office really isn't that big.
They weren't keeping it quiet either. So
No. So Hoyt comes running. He's like, shots fired, shots fired. It's like, hey, I did my first desk pop. It's a real thing, right? And he's like, a desk pop? It's like, no, that's
like,
not
"No,
real.
that's not- they were so convincing in their argument. They swung me. And I didn't realize it until like a little bit ago that's what he said. They swung me.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell what that word was. Now it makes sense.
So after Danton and Highsmith jump off this incredibly tall building, it shows them at their funeral. Well, no, Gene, or Captain. The captain had to take Gamble's gun away.
Right.
Because he was, obviously irresponsible with it.
So he gives them a wooden gun in exchange.
Yeah,
they use it for ceremony.
Yep, they use it for ceremony. So, and a lot, like you said it, and then one of my coworkers asked me, or like, what's ceremony? And I'm like, well, I imagine if he's getting honored with something, or if he's at a funeral or something like that, that would pertain to a ceremony, and he probably just has it in his holster. So, because I imagine that a lot of captains probably don't carry live ammunition because all the people that are underneath them do.
They just delegate.
Yeah. So after Danton and Highsmith's death, it shows him at the funeral, and I love Ice-T's narration on it because he's like, cops still argue to this day why Danton and Highsmith jumped off that building.
Right.
So it makes me wonder how long ago that was.
Like, that funeral was like probably a week later.
Yeah. So they're talking about, he's talking about that, and he was like, yeah, he goes, well, cops still argue to this day why Danton and Highsmith jumped off that roof. He's like, maybe it was pride. Or, having escaped death so many times, they just thought they were impervious to it. I don't know. But that shit was crazy.
His narrations are just obvious.
Yeah. So I love that.
He's just saying what everyone's thinking.
Yeah. So I love that, they're talking at the funeral, and that's when Mark Walberg or Terry is telling Alan, it's time to step up. Like, we gotta be the guys. He's like, don't you think every detective here is thinking the exact same thing? And Alan's just, come on, we're at a funeral.
Have some respect.
Yeah. So then they're back at the house of one of the widows.
I called it, during our first recording, I called it the funeral after party.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what else you would call it. It's a reception. It's not a wedding. So it's like an additional service, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably just, to come pay your respects to the family and everything. So they're there, and Terry tells Alan again, he was like, we got to step up. This city's dying for a hero.
Is it?
I love how he asked it like a question. He's like, what about 9 million socially conscious people just stepping up and doing their part? It's like, one, that's never going to happen.
True.
So from there, he starts talking, and that's when Fosse and Martin walk over. Martin says, well, look what we got here. It's like, one guy shot Jeter, the other guy shot in office. But I love Damon Wayne Jr.'s laugh here because he's just like,
it's so, it's like
so
high,
bad.
It's like high school kids just being stupid.
Oh, God, it's so bad. So then, he tells them, we're at a funeral. Show some decorum. And then that's when he comes up and he's like, you want to go? Because I'll beat your body with big, nasty hooks. So Terry has to intervene because, it's partner's code. He was like, hey, you lay a hand on him, I'll beat the shit out of you with Alan's head.
He's like, it's just hyperbole.
Yeah, it's like, but that is a weird description.
It's a weird example or something.
So, and then Fosse looks at him, he's like, what, you want to go? And then that's when Martin's just like, I want to go. So Martin tackles Hoyts.
Quietly.
Yeah. It is very quiet. And they're not even like they're not punching or anything like that, but it's almost like a fight in high school.
You're just
like,
wrestling on the ground.
Yeah, everybody just comes running, and they're like, come on, hit him, pull his hair.
Because they all want this fight to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's entertaining to them.
Yeah.
But they don't want to get caught, so they circle around the two of them so nobody else can see it happening.
So, and then the widows come walking by, and they're like, oh, everyone stops, and they're like, we're sorry for your loss.
That's a lovely hat.
Yeah. It's like, yes.
I like your shoes.
And then when they walk by, Gamble turns back around, he's like, okay, go, it's good, go. So they start fighting again.
And then it cuts to Captain Gene, who notices the scuffle.
Yeah.
And he comes over right away.
Yeah.
And he starts whisper yelling at them.
Yeah. It's like, what is this? He's like, you guys. He's like, what? You're fighting over who's going to be the next guy that steps up? And then Alan's just like, yeah, that's exactly what's happening. So I do like it when he tells him, it's the partner's code. And in this scene also is when he tells him, he was like, when you were a kid, didn't you ever play Cops and Robbers? And he was like, no, I'll tell you what I did when I was a kid. It's like, I went to school, I made my bed, and at age 11, I audited my parents. And believe me,
there were discrepancies.
And I was grounded.
Who are you? God. But you can tell that that Terry and Alan haven't been partners for very long.
Right.
And Terry clearly hates Alan. He can't stand anything about him, which is why when he's doing the paperwork from Danson and Highsmith, Terry's like, he's humming. Alan's humming.
Yeah.
The theme song to SWAT.
Yeah. He's like, could you stop humming? Stop humming that song. I can hum if I want to. I know you can, but I'm asking you to stop.
Well, if you're asking me, then I'll stop. And then he proceeds to continue typing up his report with this, smile. He's
the dumbest smile.
Shittiest smile on his face. Like he's so content doing this shitty paperwork. Yeah. And then Terry asks him, could you please stop smiling like that?
Well, now you're asking me to mask my emotions because of how it makes you feel, and that I will not do.
And then he starts humming the theme song to I Dream of Jeannie. Yeah.
Which would have been funnier if he'd hummed the theme song to Bewitched.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that would have been good. Nice. But yeah, Terry's irritated. He's got to escape for a while because, he can't get out and do what he wants to do. So he's like, I'm going to go get a slice.
He's a peacock. You got to let him fly.
As soon he heads out into the hallway and immediately comes back in and gets into Alan's face. And he's like, you know what I just did? He's like, I saw 2 detectives out there, and I was going to start talking about you behind your back, but my dad always taught me, if you're going to say something, if you talk behind somebody's back, that you're a coward. He's like, so...
He's like, wow, I appreciate that. Thank you.
He's like, so I'm just going to tell it straight to your face.
No, you don't have to do that.
He's like, I don't like you. I think you're a fake cop. He's like, even the sound of your urine hitting the urinal, it sounds feminine. If I was a lion, I would go out of my way to hunt you down. Even if you were a tuna.
Yeah, I'd swim out into the middle of the ocean and I'd freaking eat you. And then I'd bang your tuna girlfriend.
He's like, in the middle of the ocean? It's like, lions don't like water.
If you had placed it near a river or fresh water source, then yeah, that makes sense. But out there in the ocean with 20-foot waves, I'm assuming it's off the coast of South Africa. He's like, can you come up into a school of 20 or 30 800-pound tuna? Oh, nope, you'd lose that paddle. You'd lose that paddle 9 times out of 10.
And now we've got a taste for lion. So we've talked. We've communicated. Lion tastes good.
Let's go get some more lion. So
he's like, so we communicated, and we're gonna find a way to hunt you down.
Yeah,
we
establish a beachhead. He's like, oh yeah, how are you gonna do that?
How are you gonna do that?
We will build a series of breathing apparatuses
with
from kelp.
We'll trap certain amounts of oxygen. We're not talking about days at a time, but hour 45, no problem. We'll find you. We'll hunt down you and your pride. And
we will corner you.
He's like, then we'll go back. We'll get more oxygen.
He's like, and we will track you down, and we will kill you.
It's like, that go how you thought it was? Damn.
Nope.
You say it. That go.
That go the way you thought it was going to go?
Nope.
So having no defense to it, he just picks up his coffee and throws it on him. Leaves.
A reasonable reaction.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
So from there, they've tried to establish that they're partners that, well, I mean, Gamble likes Hoyts, but Hoyts definitely doesn't like Gamble. So when the next call comes in, they're like, shots fired. There's large amounts of cocaine on the scene. That's when Martin and Fosse stand up and they're like, all right, you guys see what's going on here. We're about to lock shit down.
Yeah, so they're kind of trying to establish themselves as the new hot shots.
Yeah. And they go walking out and Terry's sitting there like, come on, is there any way you want to go on that call? And he's like, no chance.
Too busy.
But I like when he's leaving. Well, I like when they're leaving, Gamble is telling them, it's like, all right, guys, a lot of energy, a lot of focus.
Shut up.
So
Gamble gets no respect.
Yeah. So Terry is like, hey, can I see you in the hall for a second? He's like, I don't know. I got all this paperwork I got to fill out.
He's like, remember those construction violations you were talking to me about?
Yeah. He was like, it's about that.
He's like,
the scaffolding permits?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that's our thing.
So he gets Gamble, he gets Alan to come out into the hallway and immediately pulls his gun and aims it right at his neck. He's like, we're going. Like,
we're going on this call. And he was like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh yeah. He's like, no, he's like, we're taking this call. So as they're getting ready to leave, he's just like, you won't shoot me. And he's like, oh yeah, I shot Jeter. He's like, yeah, but that was an accident.
Was it?
So as he's pulling him out at gunpoint in the middle of this police station,
nobody's reacting.
Yeah, nobody's reacting. Nobody cares. And you even see Gamble, and he's like, anyone seeing this? The man has a gun on me.
Yeah.
He's like, and nobody cares about this.
He's
I'm
like,
being abducted.
I'm in a police station, and nobody's interested in this.
So
it cuts to them in Alan's red Prius, and
what is this?
I feel like we're driving around in a vagina.
It's my Prius. It's like, feels like we're driving around in a vagina. It's like we should be shopping for training bras.
Well, he says that after he puts on Little River Band.
Yeah. So.
Well, Terry pulls out a CD from his jacket pocket.
Yeah, which
I don't remember what song
I don't know
it was.
why he would carry a CD around. Well, the song was "Let the Dragons Loose," and it's some heavy metal song. And he's just like, "All right, let's go do some damage." And
Alan switches it.
Yeah, he's like, "Nope." So he switches it to Little River Band.
He's like, "What the hell is this?" He's like, "LRB, Little River Band." And that's when he says, I feel like we should be shopping for training bras.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it goes to Martin and Fosse, who are also going to this call. And Martin is telling Fosse, he's like, about, I guess, what he did over the weekend. Well, Fosse asked him, he's like, so what'd you do then? And Martin replies, what'd you think I did? It's like, I got up, took the belt off my neck, got dressed, and got the hell out of there. It's like... Yeah, he's like, wow, wild weekend, huh? And he was like, yeah, thought I was going to have to shoot my way out. He's like, what are you going to do? Bar mitzvahs. So then the radio call comes out, and it's Terry, and he was like, all right, Gamble and Hoyts, we're 2 minutes out. He was like, we're on that 211. And then that's when Fosse comes on, and he was like, no. He was like, Martin and Fosse, we're 2 minutes out.
It's like, this is our crime scene.
Yeah, stay out of our crime scene. He's like, oh, yeah, well, let's just see who gets there first. So they're racing to get to this crime scene, and that's when Terry tells him, Alan, he's like, you floor it and get us there. He's like, all right, we'll shoot you in the foot. So Alan just yells,
America.
America!
And he floors it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they're almost right there at the crime scene.
And Terry's even telling him, he's like, you got to slow down. There's a crime scene.
Yeah, it's right there. And he's making no effort to stop, slow down, anything. No. And he drives right into the crime scene over a dead body and hits something that explodes cocaine all over the car.
Yeah. So they're sitting there, and Terry's just like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this is what I get stuck with.
Yeah.
And
did you yell America?
No. But he tells him, he's like, I've never actually put my foot all the way down on the accelerator like that. Got me slightly aroused.
Then Martin and Fosse come knocking on the car window.
Here we go.
Terry rolls it down.
It's like, hey, it's like, is this a Prius? He's like, yep.
It's like, way to put your stamp on the crime scene.
Yep. He's like, good gas mileage? He's like, oh, yeah, terrific. It's like, yeah.
Did this thing come with a dental dam? And he's like, get it?
Yeah. My Suburban shit one of these last night.
Terry just starts rolling the window up.
So it looks like Scarface sneezed on your car. Like, I love it. The Fosse takes a picture and he was like, at the crime scene, LOL. It's like that's a good tweet.
Yeah.
That's a good tweet.
Was it though? That's where the bar's at.
Yeah.
For good tweets.
So, well, that's about as good as our tweets.
We have a Twitter account?
That we do. So, they're leaving. Hoyts and Gamble are leaving because Martin and Fosse have locked down the crime scene, and it's their crime, like their investigation. So they're driving back, and Gamble even tells me, he's like, you don't respect me, do you? He's like, you don't think I'm a cop.
You don't think I'm a real cop?
Yeah, you don't think I'm a real cop. And the Hoyts is just like, no, I've told you that several times, directly to your face. I was being very honest. He was like, no, David Ershon has 7 building contracts out right now, hasn't applied for 1 scaffolding permit. He's like, he was like, according to Ask Jeeves, he's giving a presentation right now over at the Radisson or Madison or
the
whatever.
Plaza Hotel, I think.
Plaza Hotel. And I love Ershon's.
Yes, his little speech. And
yeah.
He's a British guy, but he's talking about the American dream and being able to spend in excess by being profitable.
Yeah.
And whatever it is that you do.
Just be excessive.
Right. I myself have 18 Lamborghinis and a Subaru station wagon.
So when he's done with the presentation, he's walking through the crowd like a little meet and greet type of thing. And that's when he comes across Roger Wesley, who's a real tall, big Australian guy. Looks like he's part of some type of secret service. And he has a phone, and he was like, oh, David Ershon, I believe this call's for you. So he takes it, and he's like, hello. And it's Pamela Boardman from Lindell Global. And she's like, hey, David, you're not returning my calls. I'd like you to meet Roger Wesley. And he's like, good day, mate. Like, yeah, Roger's going to be keeping an eye on you because I have a feeling that you're going to leave. And he's like, oh, Pamela, don't be crazy. I'm not leaving. And she was like, nope, you got to get me this money back. I'm not reporting any losses, David. He's like, oh, no, don't worry. He's like, yeah, no, don't worry. I'll tell him he doesn't have to stick around. And she's like, no, David, listen. He's like, okay, goodbye. Hangs up, and he tells Roger, he's like, hey, she's a woman. She overreacted. But I love it because he has a little earpiece in, and he's like, heard everything, mate. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the man who gave me the secret of making my first $1 billion. That man there.
Yeah, he points right to Wesley because he's trying to make an escape.
Yep. He's got to get out of there.
Pretty good diversion,
yep.
Not going to lie.
It is. And he's getting out the back, and he calls his assistant, which I think it was Claude. And he's like, Claude? He's like, pick me up at the rear entrance. I'm flying Air Singapore.
As he's going through a hallway, you see, and I can't remember the actor's name.
Zach Woods.
Who you would know from The Office.
Yes.
Gabe.
Yep.
He steps out of the office and...
he's like, Douglas, hey, how's the wife?
She's dead.
Attaboy. Just keeps walking.
But yeah, Terry and Hoyt arrive at the Plaza Hotel, and they cut through the kitchen area.
Yeah.
And they happen to run into David Ershon.
Yeah, that's where he's leaving from.
And Alan sees him. He's like, are you David Ershon?
Well, I think it's funny because Ershon accidentally bumps into Hoyt, and Hoyt is just like, get out of here, man. Like, just pushes him away. Like, what are you doing? So, and then that's when Gamble's like, hey, wait, you're David Ershon, right? And he's like, well,
Sir.
prefer Sir David, but yeah, okay. And he's like, oh, well.
But I'm kind of in a hurry.
Yeah. So he's going to walk by, and he was like, oh, no, you're under arrest. He's like, what's going on? So he's starting to arrest him, and he starts to read him the Miranda rights, and he tells him, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. And then he doesn't know the rest, so he's like, what is it?
He says as a, and then he draws a blank, and then Terry's like, flotation device.
Yeah, it's like, as a flotation device. It's like,
real funny.
Real funny, real mature. But it's funny because Urshan's just like, wait, am I being punked?
I've never read anyone their Miranda rights before.
I've never Miranda'd anyone before. So
they get him in the back of the Prius. Yeah. And they start driving back to the station.
I like that. I like how he radios in that they're coming in. He was like, this is Detective Gamble and Hoyts. We are bringing in one David Urshan in a cocaine-covered car.
But as they cross through an intersection, a big Range Rover slams into the front driver's side
quarter panel
of the car.
Yeah.
And then Alan just thinks it's a regular accident that happened, so he gets out and he's ready to start exchanging information.
I'll get you my insurance information.
He's like, what?
Couldn't see the car, mate. It's big enough.
Yeah, right.
But it's funny because they take their weapons and
their shoes,
which you never see them take their shoes. But they get their weapons and the people are getting in the car. But there's a Brazilian girl that's on Wesley's team, and she looks directly at Gamble, and she's like, "Ai, seu meu temor."
Yeah, she says something in Portuguese.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly sexy.
I think anything in Portuguese sounds sexy, probably.
Well, yeah.
Well, I guess it depends on who it's coming from, though.
Well, yeah. So she gets in the car, and then Hoyts is like, "What was that?" But as they're getting ready to drive off, Urshan's in the back, and he's like, do not let these men take me. But then they go driving off, and right before, as the Prius is backing up, one of the other guards just wipes his finger on the hood and rubs the cocaine on his teeth.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Oh, God. What if that car was super dirty?
Doesn't matter when it comes to cocaine.
I wouldn't know.
Well, I mean, neither would I. It's just what I've heard.
Speaking in I'm just speaking
in
generalizations.
So then they're like, why'd they take our shoes? So they're both barefoot, just in their socks, and they have to walk back.
And Terry's too proud to call an Uber to come back.
Yeah.
Or call one of the squad cars to come pick him up because they don't want anybody knowing.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want that going out on the air. So they determine, and Gamble even tells him, he's like, look, if we're going to continue to work together, we got to work some stuff out. He's like, you said the way I pee is feminine. You said I have a weak chin. He's like, this is a very well thought out list.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah. So he's like, and then Hoyts is just, you know what? Yeah, you're right. He's like, fresh start. Okay. So they shake hands on it, and then Gamble immediately screws it up.
Yes, Alan's like, maybe they should start calling us the Febreze brothers because of how fresh it's feeling right now.
And Hoyts just smiles like, okay. And he's like,
I know you're thinking fresh start again, right?
Yeah, he's like, we do another fresh start. And he's like, yeah, that's the last one. So they get back to the station, and right when they come in, they're like, all right, we got a high profile kidnapping. David Urshan. Could be drug trafficking, could be a sleeper cell. We don't know. It's too early to tell. And then
Fosse, he notices that they're not wearing any shoes.
Yeah,
and
he doesn't even care about what he's saying.
No, he's like, Bilbo Baggins.
Hey, Bilbo Baggins.
Where are your shoes? Your feet are black.
So then someone comes out of captain's office, and he was like, Hoyts, Gamble, captain. Not good.
Not good.
So they go in there. And that's where Roger Wesley is with Urshan's lawyer, Don Beeman. And so they're sitting there, and he's like, hey, I'd like you to meet Roger Wesley, head of Urshan's private security, and his attorney, Don Beeman. Well, Hoyts is ready to throw down because it's like, hey, you guys just nailed us in an intersection, took our guns, took our shoes. We had to walk back. It's like,
It's like, we didn't know you were cops, mate.
Yeah. He's like, we thought you were abducting Mr. Urshan. It's like, it's just only protocol. So he's getting ready to leave, and that's when
Terry gets in Wesley's face.
Yeah, and he tells him, he was like, "You're Australian, right? Special Forces?" And then that's when Wesley tells him, it's like, "Be careful, mate. It's like, there are 3 things I love in this world. Kylie Minogue."
Kylie Minogue, yeah.
It's like the dimples above a woman's buttocks on the small of her back. And then
beautiful features.
Yeah, Gamble comes in, beautiful features. It's like, and the fear in a man's eyes when he knows I'm about to hurt him. And the captain comes to the defense quickly. He's like, "Shake your dicks. This pissing contest is over."
and then he glances over at nobody.
Yeah, and nods and winks like, "Don't worry, I got your back, boys." But it was a good line, right?
It was.
It was well delivered.
It really was.
So I think that was more the validation he was looking for. Like, "Don't worry, I'm still tough. I got this." So they leave. But it was funny because he was like, "Did you identify yourselves as police officers?" He's like, "No."
He's like, "What do you call this?"
Yeah. He was like,
holds up the badge.
"Did you?" And he was like, "No, we didn't." So he starts telling him, he's like, "Look, you guys, you have to be smart when it comes to this, all right?"
He's like, you remember my Be Smart speech?
Yeah. He's like, "Look, I'm working 2 jobs." He's like, "I'm working here and I got another job at Bed Bath & Beyond just so I can put a kid through NYU so he can explore his bisexuality and become a DJ."
Which you don't need to go to college to do either of those things. What a waste of money.
So he tells them, as he's giving them their guns back, he was like, "All right, Terry, here's your gun." And, Terry takes it, puts it, holsters it up. And then he was like, "Alan, someone was nice enough to put a linseed oil on this, some type of stain, maybe a dark walnut." He's like, "You might want to think about dropping him a thank you note." He's like, "Will do, Captain."
I mean, it definitely looks better than it did, but it's still a fucking wooden gun.
Yeah. So as they're leaving, they walk out of the captain's office and they're, on the news, they were talking about how Ershon was kidnapped and profiled and the cops could be facing a wrongful arrest lawsuit. And Gamble right away is like, "What?" He's like, "What? He broke the law. We arrested him." So Terry's just kind of like, "Yeah, whatever." So Alan tells him, "Hey, why don't you come over tonight and we'll talk down the case and you can meet Sheila and we'll have some dinner." He's like, "Hey, it's 2 cops talking about a case while eating food.
It's not dinner."
And then he tells him, he was like, "Look, I'd like to warn you." He's like, "My wife is a big old broad and she likes to wield it."
This is a weird way to describe somebody.
Yeah.
Especially someone who
your significant other
doesn't fit that description
not at all. Not even a little.
No, you find out about Alan and he doesn't treat his wife very well.
No.
But you find out exactly why later on. I'm not going to ruin that yet.
But it's great because, they're at Alan's house and he has this presentation brought up on like some type of PowerPoint. And he's talking about how he was like, I came up with this. He's like, recently I was able to cut 3 minutes out of Goodfellas.
He's like, I like using Adobe Premiere.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I recently cut 3 minutes out of Goodfellas, but why?
Yeah.
Why do you have to do that?
So they're watching this video and they're talking about David Ershon. And he was like, David Ershon is the head of, this corporation. His biggest client is Lindell Global. And
Terry's like, whose voice is that?
Yeah. He was like, "Oh, it's the Frontline narration app. It costs 99 cents. So then after the video, it says, David Ershon can usually be found in the company of Judge Scalia and the lead singer of Maroon 5.
Yes.
Not Adam Levine. The lead singer of Maroon 5. So as soon as it's done, Terry immediately is just, it's like, oh, so it could be like human trafficking or part of a drug cartel or something.
And Alan's like, no. It's like
how did you get any of that from what you just watched?
And this is an ongoing thing. Terry jumps to conclusions throughout the entire movie.
Like he wants something so bad to be linked to the drug cartel.
Everything is drugs with him.
Yeah. So then you hear
soup's on.
Yeah. And here comes, his wife. And he looks over and she's like, "Sorry, I've been hiding, but this dinner was tricky."
And it's
the wife is played
Eva Mendes.
Yes. Who was wearing the best form-fitting dress I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and Terry looks over. He's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, I'm Dr. Sheila Gamble." It's like, I'm Alan's wife.
And Terry's like, no, seriously, who is that?
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, no, he's like, that's the old lady. He's like, so he gets up and he goes over and she's like, come here, give me a kiss. And she goes to kiss him and he's about to kiss her and he's like, no.
He's like, no, not right now.
Yeah. And then he even tells her, he's like, honey, I think you should go change because, you've come in here dressed like a hobo. Dressed like a hobo. He's like, we're trying to work. It's a workstation. And she's like, I know. I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to interrupt your work.
Yeah. So they go, and it's funny because Terry the whole time is just like, no, seriously, you going to tell me who this is?
Yeah. He's not buying into the fact that that's his wife. There's no possible way that he can be with her. But it cuts to them at dinner.
Yeah. And as they're sitting there, it's funny because he's like, why are you with Alan? Or no, he asks you.
He doesn't say that yet.
Yeah. He's like, well, how are you together? And she was like, yeah, I know, because I'm Catholic and he's Episcopalian. She's like, but somehow we make it work. And then she was like, what about you? Do you have a girl? And he was like, I had one, but, we broke up. It's complicated. We were supposed to get married. And then Alan's like, yeah, Terry shot Derek Jeter. Well, he's like, shut up, Alan. That was before.
Before he gets into the whole, why are you guys together? There's the whole, Alan's telling her to go change. She's like, yeah. I thought I told you to go change. He's like, I already did.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you look kind of shitty.
So don't talk to her like that, Alan.
Yeah, Terry's defending her. He can't take his eyes off of her the whole time because he's sitting directly across from her at the table. And that's where they get into the whole how they met or
and then she asked him, do you have a girl? And he was like, I had one. We were supposed to get married, but we broke up. It's complicated. Mm-hmm. But I like Alan because he's like, yeah, Terry shot Derek Jeter. He's like, shut up, Alan. That was before.
But she tells the story of how they met.
Yeah.
And how he was, drugged out and he had poison ivy all on his ass.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, it's just like a scene out of that one movie with Meg Ryan.
What is it?
He's like, wait. And then, it's funny because Terry's just like, I don't remember a movie with Meg Ryan where he meets a man with poison ivy up his ass.
Yeah. She's like,
oh no. He's like, I'll think of it.
Yeah. Then they change subject.
Yeah, they start talking about the apps that Alan likes because he tells her if he put her outfit in his Cosmo fashion app, she'd get a D-. And then she was like, "Ooh, Alan and his apps." She was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Can I tell him?" And he's like, "Mm-hmm."
He's like, well, Terry said, he's like, "I think you look really nice."
Yeah. But she was like, "Can I tell him?" And he's like, "Mm-hmm." Mm-hmm. She was like, "Yeah." So you can take a picture of anybody's face, and it'll tell you what the back of his head looks like.
Face back.
It's like, it's face back. Yeah. And then Alan immediately, he's like, got some
really
horrible
bad ratings out the gate.
Horrible reviews right out of the gate. He's like, but it's going to catch on. So they're talking about this, and then he's going to leave. And as he's leaving, what I think is great is, he's like, hey, I had a really nice time. Thanks for having me over. And she's just like, oh, thank you for coming, and she was like, look, Terry, I only ask one thing. You just don't let them get hurt. And then Alan's like, she tells me that every morning. She's like, yeah, I make him his fresh cut strawberries, and he comes downstairs, and I give him a kiss, and I say, whatever you do today, don't get hurt.
It's like I show him my breasts,
and then I show
breasts
him,
are for you.
She's like, they'll be waiting for you when you get home. She's like, they're not the biggest breasts he's ever seen. He's like, nope, not by a long shot.
She's so degrading.
She's like, but they are firm, and they are perky, and
they're
yours.
Then a call comes through the radio.
Yeah. It's like, hey, Hoyt's Gamble. And he's like, yeah, go for Hoyt's.
We found your red Prius. It was trying to vote for Ralph Nader. But as Terry's walking away to leave, he's like, bye, Sheila.
Yeah. He's like, I'll never forget tonight. And she's like, bye, Terry. And then Alan was like, bye, Terry. And he's like, yeah, whatever. Go inside, Alan. Yeah,
he doesn't want.
Bye, Sheila.
Bye, Sheila. Alan's like, I don't think you heard me. Bye, Terry.
Yep. Bye, Sheila.
And he walks away. I don't think you ever see his car.
No, you never see him in a car. He's always a passenger. Yeah. So
I don't know where. I don't know if he walks home or if he does have a car and we just never see it.
yeah, I have no idea.
But as he's walking wherever he's walking, you see the Range Rover that Wesley was in previously, with some really dramatic sounding like instrumental in the background.
Yeah. So then you have so then it cuts to the garage where the Prius is, and you got the forensic team going through it, and it's great because you have the guy who's heading up the forensic team is hysterical. Everything I've seen him in, he's hysterical.
It's because you pissed on his face, friend.
Yeah. So, Hoyts is like, hey, did you find anything? He was like, oh, yeah, we found a lot.
Yeah.
It's like we found it under an overpass downtown. He's like, yeah, apparently a couple homeless
bunch
guys.
Of homeless guys.
Had an orgy in it. He's like, yeah, you know what we call it when they do that? It's called a soup kitchen. And the whole time, it's just like everything that he says, it just gets worse and worse. And Alan's just like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and after that, a raccoon came in and gave birth on the floor.
Yeah. He's like, watch out in the back. There's a baby mouse and a used condom. He's like, oh. It's like, yeah, real disgusting.
Yeah.
He's like, did you find any fingerprints? And he was like, no, nothing like that. Spent shell casings? He's like, no. Everybody that was in on this orgy was more than willing.
We found some unscratched lottery tickets, though.
Yeah. He was like, in a note. He was like, thanks for the F Shack. Love Dirty Mike and the boys. But I like it because he tells him, he was like, yeah. He's like, it's a sad thing. I got myself a Prius. It's a hell of a machine.
Which it's not.
Yeah. And then Alan's just like, yeah, it's my first new car. Never had a new car.
We found an iPhone.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, it's mine. So they go to lunch, and Terry has all the scratch off tickets, and he's scratching them off, and he's like, look at that. Not one winner. Not even a free ticket. So they're talking, and Alan's going through his phone, and I guess he determines that, yeah. Well, he determines that a call went through. He's like, wow, he was like, there was a call made on this, a 2-minute call made on my phone. He's
Somebody
like,
used your phone?
He's like, no, the ghost dialed. Probably sat on it. So he's going through, and he was like, and then Terry tells me, we got to hear the other end of that call. And
Alan looks back at his phone.
Yeah, and he's like, yep, nope,
it's nothing.
Don't think so. It's nothing. He's like, why'd you get super jumpy?
He's like, it's ex-girlfriend.
I was like, what happened between you two?
He's like, I don't remember exactly what he says.
He
like
just tells him,
years
like,
ago.
Yeah,
he's like complicated.
He's like, it's complicated. Ended bad. So he was like, well, come on. He was like, either we dump this right now. He's like, but this is the only lead we got.
Right.
So he was like, all right, fine. We'll go see her. So they go to Christineth's house. It's Christine to the nth degree. Christineth. So they go there and knock on the door, and I don't know the actress's name. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but she is smoking hot.
She's not ugly.
Yeah. So she is standing there holding a full tumbler-sized drink that is filled to the brim with ice and a clear liquid. So the only thing that I can imagine is that it's vodka.
It's not water.
Yeah. So she's like, Alan, and then kind of nods her head to his partner, and he's like, oh, it's my partner, Terry.
She looks over at him without moving her head, but then tilts her head towards him, like as if to silently ask, who the fuck is this guy?
And then he's like, oh, it's my partner, Terry. And she's like, hi, Telly. So they go in.
Remember this later because she fucks his name up. Terry makes no mention of it.
Yeah. So they go in, and they're all sitting in the living room. And it's funny because she tells Alan right away, I waited in Tower Records for you for 4 hours.
That was 13 years ago.
So
her name is Natalie Zia or Zay?
Yes. She's done some other things, but
well, yeah.
But
as soon as she sits down on the couch, they're in the living room, and she's just like,
yeah. Well, it's funny because the husband comes in, and he's like, "Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo." It's like Arnold Palmer alert. Arnold Palmer alert.
Who wants some Arnie Palmies?
He's like, honey, this one's got the vodka in it. She's like, just set it down. He's like, okay.
I think she's just embarrassed by him.
Yeah. So it's great because she's sitting right next to her husband. Alan's across the room, and she's just like, oh, I did things in bed with you that I haven't done with anyone since. And the husband just points at himself. He's like, me? No, you're a lucky dog.
But she does that move where she covers the one side of her face as if to, like, if you're going to mouth something to someone and you don't want the person next to you to see it, but she says it out loud.
Yeah.
While she's pointing.
Everybody heard it.
She's pointing right at her husband.
Yeah.
Without hiding that at all. And he doesn't seem to mind.
He's in total agreement.
Yeah.
Okay. That's right.
But and Terry's like, this, hey, Christine, this is a lovely home.
Yeah. And she's like, it's Christineth. Are you deaf or stupid? And then the husband immediately comes in. He's like, it's Christineth. You come into our house, you get my wife's name right. Christineth. And then Will Ferrell's just trying to calm everyone down. So he's like,
they're there for a reason, and he doesn't want to be there any longer than they have to.
Yeah. So he's like, oh, thanks for showing us the hospitality, but I need to really listen to the other end of that phone call. And she's like, okay. It's like, we'll go into the kitchen, and I'll let you listen, and everybody else can just stay here. And the husband's just like, okay, sweetie. So Terry's left out there on one sofa. The husband's left out there on the other sofa across from each other. They walk into the kitchen, and she does this hand point. It's a whole hand, palm up.
Not a finger, the whole hand.
Yeah.
There's my phone.
It's
a big surprise to her, even when she said that they were going to the kitchen.
Yeah. So she immediately grabs him and just throws him into the counter and starts punching him. And she's like, I hate you. I hate you. And he's just like, God, you're so strong. And she's like, I am stronger than you will ever know. And she keeps punching him. And then she immediately switches. And she's like, oh, but I love you. I love you. She's like, I love you. Say, I love you, Christina.
She puts her fingers on his lips as if to like work it like a puppet.
Yeah.
Just like Highsmith wanted to do.
Yeah. Just say, I love you, Christina.
I love you, Christina.
But it's funny because it goes back to the living room where the kitchen looks like it's 10 feet away. So I don't know how Terry didn't hear any of that noise.
Right.
So he's just sitting there, and the husband's sitting there across from him.
He's laying across the whole couch like he's posing for a photo shoot.
Yeah, and he's like, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking because of my beard that I'm probably really hairy. I'm not. Shaved.
Alan?
So Alan is able to break free from Christineth's grip, grab the phone. He's like, this is police evidence now. And he goes running out. He's like, come on, Terry. So they run out, and the husband even gets up, and he was like, hey, you get back here and make love to my wife. So
it cuts to them, which you can only imagine it's been maybe an hour later, because it's dark out, and it was light out when they went to the house.
Yeah, so they're there, and they're sitting there listening. He's like, all right, we got to listen to this call. So they listen to it, and it's Urshan talking to Roger Wesley, and he was like, yeah. And Roger Wesley tells him, you took $32 billion. And he was like, yeah, I know. He's like, I'm going to get it back. And he was like, well, you need to find someone to invest this money. And then Hoyts is just like, who's got $32 billion? So he's like, yeah, he's like, well, since you guys are following me, I need to be dropped off at 2300 Park Avenue. So he's like, okay, the call cuts off. So they're talking about something. I think just, what I think kind of maybe how the case is going. And you hear yelling in the background, and they look in the rearview mirror, and they're like, oh my God, is that him? And it's the husband and the wife. And he's like,
you hear screaming, you can't make out what's being said.
Well, then you hear the husband, and he was like, nobody leaves our house without making love to my wife. He's like, get back here. And he's like, Jesus, he must have ran 20 miles.
Which does make sense that it would be dark by this time.
And he is not slowing down at all.
No.
So they take off. And then I'm
pretty sure she's in heels too.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's right behind her husband. So she's screaming for Alan. And then, so then it cuts to the bar, and they're at the bar, and he Googled the address for 2300 Park Avenue, which is the offices of the lottery. And he was like, what's the offices of the lottery? He's like, the lottery tickets we found. He's like, oh, man. He's like, they may be targeting the lottery. And then Hoyt's even again is just like, so it's drug cartel money. He's like, no, none of this has to do with drug cartels.
Like, this isn't South Miami.
Yeah. So they're talking about it, and then they say that they found a number for a accounting firm. He's like, their only client is David Ershon. He's like, and they're in Jersey. He's like, all right, so I say we go to Jersey tomorrow and visit that accounting firm.
Alan gets
that's a shitty day.
Alan gets a tap on his shoulder.
Yeah,
because you hear some guys singing in the background.
Yeah,
but they tap him because it's apparently Alan's turn to sing.
Yeah.
It sounds like an Irish folk song or something.
Yeah, from the Revolutionary War period.
And yeah, he's
like, oh, hang on, I'm up.
Yeah, I gave my love to Erin. She promised to be true. I went to war and come back to find 5 British soldiers had their way with her. It was consensual. He goes back and sits down at the bar.
Yeah, which Terry has this look on his face like, what? But they go back to talking. He makes no mention. Yeah, they go back to talking about the case, and he was like, yeah, we'll go to Jersey tomorrow and visit that accounting firm. That's going to be a shitty day. And he gets immediately another tap on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, hang on, I'm up again.
And all their husbands were hanged, and the children all got pink eye, while their Harry Potter books were burned. And Terry's like, do you have fun singing those songs? They're really depressing.
Like, yes. Oh, yeah. They're full of rich history.
Yes, Harry Potter.
Full of rich
history.
So Terry gets up and he's like, all right, I'm going to go see my lady. And then he was like, wait, I thought you said you guys broke up. And
he's like, hey, just keep our thing about work.
Yeah. So he goes to a ballet studio where you meet Francine, who is dancing with her dance partner and doing a fairly good job. So I can imagine that the guy that she's dancing with is probably
an actual
ballet
professional dancer. Yeah.
So Terry just comes walking in slowly and walks up, and he's dipping her down, and then he just chimes in. He's like, what the hell are you doing? And she stands up and she's like, Terry, what are you doing here? And he was like, I love you, Francine. He was like, if you had stayed with me, you wouldn't be in this strip club shaking it for dollar bills. And she's like, this is a ballet studio, Terry. These poles are horizontal.
Who's this guy? Is this your boyfriend?
Yeah. Great, you got a new boyfriend. Well, it's funny because he tells her again, he's like, I love you. And then you see Alan in the doorway.
She's like, you don't know what love is.
Yeah, well, you see Alan in the doorway, and he's like,
he loves you very much,
Francine. He's like, Alan, what are you doing here? And she's like, who
the hell is this guy?
It's like, come on, stop. And so he's like, what, you don't think I can do this shit? So he starts dancing, and he does it very well. But so you just imagine that it's a trained ballet person,
and when
that's dancing because it just shows his feet.
Right, and when you watch this movie, because I know this episode is going to make you want to watch the movie again.
Yeah.
Look at the guy's shoes, because whoever is dancing is wearing
like heeled boots.
They look like boots, but yeah, they are heeled, but they look like ones that would be more like you'd be able to dance in them better than what Terry was actually wearing.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to him to where you see his upper body to finish his little spinning plie thing where he does his little finishing flare.
Yeah.
And then Francine's like, what, Terry, that was surprisingly good.
He's like, I love you, Francine. And she's like, you don't know what love is. And then you hear Alan. He's like, he loves you very much, Francine.
I heard it when he said it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then he's walking in. He was like, all right. He's like, yeah. He's like, it's like, I'd do anything for you. And he's like, don't eyeball me, man. He's like,
you hang out with this crack dealing drug addict.
She's like, Terry. And then you hear Alan. He's like, he disapproves of this behavior, Francine.
Oh my God, he does.
So they go leaving, and it's funny because Terry walks out, and then Alan's like, I think we all witnessed our own ballet here. The ballet of emotion
and feelings. You're kind of making things worse.
So you see Terry outside, and then Alan comes out, and he's like, Terry, I didn't know you could dance like that. And he's like, yeah, he goes, I learned how to dance like that so I can make fun of the kids, show them how queer they were. Like,
the kids up the street.
Yeah. It's like, wait.
You learned how to dance sarcastically?
It's like, yeah, I guess. He's like, huh. It's like, wow. And then he's like, look, I'll see you in Jersey tomorrow. He's like, just leave our thing about work, okay? And he goes walking away, and he's just like, I don't know about you, but that was very liberating for me. So, and then it shows one of the guys from the Range Rover spying on them from an abandoned building across the street.
Yeah, no, he's got a camera.
Yeah. So the next day it shows them on the bridge, and they're obviously going out to Jersey, and you can kind of sense some tension, I guess, a little bit in the car. Well, Alan tells Terry, he's like, hey, I got you a gift. I don't want it to be weird.
Well, it is. Of course it's weird. It's a grown man giving another man a present.
So he takes it, gives him this box, and he opens it up, and he's
he kind of looks at it first before he opens it, and Alan's like, it's okay, you're welcome.
Yeah.
He's like, I like doing stuff like
yeah. So then he opens it up, and he's like, yeah, read it. And I don't know why they put it in the front of the mug.
It's a coffee mug,
yeah,
but instead of the design being on one of the sides,
yeah, it's like right in the front. It's opposite of the handle.
Like, nobody holds a coffee mug like that.
Yeah. So, and it has the FBI shield on it, but right below FBI it says female body inspector. And as he's reading it, he's like, FBI, female body inspector. You just see Gamble, and he's like, it's like so funny. I can't even look at it. It makes me laugh
so
every
hard.
time. He's like, well, I got a sick sense of humor. I'm a sick puppy. And he's like, yeah, I can't even look at it. It makes me laugh all the time.
And then Terry rolls down the window. He's like, yeah, me too. And he
just
throws
tosses
the mug.
it out.
Yeah. He's like, that's real nice. That's all class.
Yeah. And then he takes the box and throws it out, and he was like, don't do that shit again. He's like, yeah,
no,
me.
I won't.
Yeah, believe me, I won't. And so he starts telling me, he's like, but do you see why it's funny? Because at first glance, it's the FBI. We're both in law enforcement. We both like women. It's like, it says FBI. It's got the same shield. He's like, so upon first glance, you're like, oh, FBI, okay. But upon second glance, you're like, what, FBI? What, female body inspector? What? It's like, that's outrageous.
Shut the fuck up, Alan.
One of these days, I'm going to climb over that anger wall of yours, and it's going to be glorious.
And he puts on LRB again.
Yep. So they arrive at the accounting firm, and Alan even says, he was like, shouldn't we call Mock on this? And he was like, no, the kid flies private. He's like, yeah, but isn't it procedure? And he's like, hey, I do what I do. And as they're walking up, the building blows up. But off to the side, you see the Range Rover, and Wesley's in there, and he had hit a button to blow it up, and he's just sitting there, and he's like, I love bombs.
But as soon as this explosion goes off, it knocks Terry and Alan onto the ground. There's shattered glass everywhere, metal parts, because the entire storefront is just blown to smithereens. And Alan, his first thought is movies where actors are walking away from an explosion and they don't bother flinching.
Yeah.
He's like, I call bullshit on that. When the Millennium Falcon blows up the Death Star, they're flying away. He's like, that was bullshit.
He's like, no. He's like, don't you dare badmouth Star Wars. That was all accurate.
He's like, I've got blood. He's like, I've got blood blisters on my hands.
I need an MRI.
He's like, I think I have soft tissue damage. There's no way I don't have soft tissue damage.
Please stop.
So it cuts to them. They're sitting on, they're in a park or something. I think they're sitting on a fountain maybe, and they kind of, where the hell are they?
Well, no, they're still in front of the accounting firm, and the fire department's putting out the fire. And he was like, they said it was a gas leak. He was like, but there's no way. That was timed. They didn't want to kill us, but they wanted to scare us.
I'm surprised he didn't mention drugs at that point.
Yeah.
any opportunity to bring up drugs. But then Alan, he finally opens up. He's like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of explosions. I'm tired of being shot at. He's like, there are no explosions at my desk. You know?
He's like, hey, sometimes life gets loud and it messes with your ears. So he starts telling him, he's like, what happened? He's like, what's going on? So then he starts telling him about his dark days in college. So, which is so funny because he's like, all right, when I was in college, it's like one of the other students came up to me because the college decided they needed to raise tuition. He's like, well, she had an idea that she would go on dates and charge guys, but she needed my help, just to make sure the dates went okay and the guys paid her.
And it cuts to the flashback.
Yeah.
And you see her asking him for help, and
Yeah.
he's like, oh yeah, I can make schedules for you.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I can offer transportation services.
She's like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. She's like, I just need you to be like my partner in crime.
And then Terry's like, oh my God, you were a pimp.
He's like, what? No, I wasn't. So he keeps talking about it, and he's like, hey, he goes, well, before I knew it, some of Brenda's girlfriends, they wanted in on this too. He's like, so at one point I had 14 women that I was protecting. And then Terry's like, yeah, that's called a stable of whores. So he goes to, starts going through it. And then each individual scene, it shows them, and there are more and more girls, other people that are with him.
He progressively looks more like a pimp in each
Yeah.
cut scene. And
So-
he's like, to protect my identity, they decided to give me a nickname, Gator.
I'm telling you were a pimp.
Are you even listening to the story?
So he starts telling him more about it, and then it really shows him. And he's in one hand he has a 9mm, and the other one he has a switchblade, and he's just rubbing the blade on his face. Well, he's got his teeth out, and he's got this very obnoxious gold grill.
Really shitty looking grill.
Yeah. And he was like, one day I looked in the mirror and I just didn't like what I became. It's like one night, two of my favorite girls, Jolene and Candy, said, you don't look so good.
Like, we got to take
We
you
got
in.
to take you in. It's like,
They dropped me off at the emergency room, and he's like, I had poison ivy up my
Yeah.
ass. It's like, that's how I met Sheila.
Yeah. And she came in, and I made a promise to myself and to her that
I would never let myself get out of control like this again.
And he was like, and then after I got out of college, I did the only thing logical. It's like, I got the most stable job I could find, an accountant for the police department, an accountant for law and order. So that's when Terry tells him, like, in this scene here, you can actually see him, like, they really connect.
They actually have a little bit of a bonding moment.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, okay, like, great. So he tells him, he's like, don't worry. He's like, I got your back, partner. So he was like, what we need to do is go and get in Urshan's face and drill him over these questions. So they go to Urshan's office, but it's funny because before they get there, you hear like this little computer animated voice, and it's a pirate, and he's like, you can either walk the plank or take your panties off. The choice is yours.
I want to take my panties off.
That's a good choice. Well, it's great because then his secretary comes in, and she's like, oh, Mr. Urshan, and he starts to shut the computer but doesn't really shut it all the way. And she's like, Detectives Gamble and the officer that shot Derek Jeter are here to see you. And then you hear the girl, and she's like, oh, yes. And he's like, there she blows.
And then he's shutting his laptop, and he hits a button, I guess, to maybe turn it off or something. But like, I tried to search like what the hell that sound clip is from, and they may have made it just for the movie.
I'm thinking that they did just make it just for the movie. So
it was great for comedic effect.
Yeah, very good for comedic effect. And right away he's like, Jillian, he's like, bring us some Russian waters, no limes, only cucumber. So she leaves, and almost as soon as she leaves, she immediately comes back in and she has 2 waters.
Like somebody was standing behind the door.
Yeah.
Ready to hand them to her.
Yeah. So he starts talking. He was like, guess where we just came from? He's like, yeah, your accounting firm. He's like, oh, yes, that awful gas leak. He's like, thank God nobody was seriously
injured
or killed because I absolutely abhor death.
Abhor death. Leave it to the British to use such descriptive words.
Yeah. So then they go to
but Alan drinks the water.
Yeah.
And Terry wants nothing to do with it, so he sets it on the desk and kind of pushes it away from him. As Alan's taking a sip, he puts the cucumber on his face next to his nose as he's drinking it, and he's like, Terry, have you tried the water?
it's the water.
It's so good.
It's like the cucumber actually accents the water in
such a way. But he never gets to finish that thought.
No. So he's telling him, he's like, look, we know that you're trying to cover your losses and you're going to hit the lottery to try and cover your losses. He's like, just tell us what drug cartel you're working for. And he's like, all right, I'm offering you my personal courtside seats to the Knicks.
He's like,
with access to the Ambassadors Club.
Right. He's saying it as an apology.
Yeah. And they just look at each other like, all right. And then it shows them at the basketball game. And Alan has a Knicks hat on, and he's right in the camera, and he was like, come on, Knicks. Let's go, Knicks.
Like,
I got Knicks fever, and it's catching. So he sits down, and to Alan's left is Brooke Shields. So it's Brooke Shields, Alan, then Terry, and then Rosie Perez. And then Alan tells him, he was like, hey, this feels kind of like a bribe. And then Terry's like, shit, it is a bribe. He's like, God, I just saw courtside and I went blind.
Yeah, so they get up and leave right away. And then Brooke Shields, she's like telling Alan, call me.
Yeah. So yet again, another hot lady. So they go back into Urshan's office and they're like, that was a trick, you know. And then immediately he holds up 2 other sets of tickets and he was like, gentlemen, you have a choice.
Mamma Mia or the Jersey Boys.
So then it shows them at Jersey Boys, and they're sitting there and they're singing Big Girls Don't Cry. And it's so funny because, you know, Terry has this big smile on his face, and Gamble's just like, we love you. I love all of this. Yeah. And he goes to sit down and he's like, damn it.
He did it again.
Did it again. So they get up and leave.
They go back to his office, and then Urshan, he immediately, so how was Jersey Boys?
Yeah.
He's like,
Jersey
Jersey Boys
was
great?
good, wasn't it? And he was like, no, it was fantastic. You completely undersold it. I mean, the costumes,
the pageantry.
It's like, wow. So that's when Hoyts pulls him off to the side. He's like, look, you know, he's like, come on, we gotta nail this guy. He's like, we're gonna do good cop, bad cop, okay? He's like, I come in heavy, then you come in. All right? He's like, yeah, okay, got it.
But he asked, before that happens, Urshan asked for more waters.
Oh, yeah.
He's like 2 glacier waters with Mediterranean lime.
Oh, yeah.
And Terry's like, no waters. We're not here for that.
Yeah. I was actually very much looking forward to the water.
But yeah, Terry gets up on him and, like, you know, grabs him by the, you know, suit jacket and just gets in his face and starts questioning him about.
I mean, it's like, what drug cartel are you working for? You know, it's like, who's selling the drugs? Whose losses are you trying to cover? And he's being over aggressive about it. And then it's so funny because
Alan's like calculating how aggressive Terry is being.
Yeah, and he just runs and Urshan's like, he's like, I'll talk to you. You're reasonable. And he's like, oh, yeah? Yeah? You want to talk to me? Ah! And he comes over and is even way more aggressive than Terry is. Throws Terry out of the way, picks Urshan up, throws him down on the desk, and he was like, all right, no, I'm going to make you eat a plate of human shit. So he's just running around the office, destroying everything. Tackles Urshan. And then it cuts to them outside the office, and he was just like, yeah, it's like, I'm sorry about that.
I saw how aggressive you were being, and I'm like, now I have to top that since we're doing bad cop, bad cop.
He's like, no, I said we're doing good cop, bad cop. He's like,
so there it is.
Yeah, there it is. Classic miscommunication. He's like, well, while you were going crazy, I snagged this off Urshan's desk. He's like, it's a phone log, right? Like, look at all the calls he made to the lottery office. So then you see a motorcycle coming up behind him, and it kneecaps Hoyts from behind.
They got like a baton or something.
Yeah, like a nightstick, a fold-out nightstick or something. So he comes running up, and he is just like, it's Colombian drug lords.
Immediately.
Like, where are you getting this?
But Terry like beats the shit out of these guys.
Like there's like 6 of them or something, beats the shit out of all of them. And it's funny because Gamble's like, God, imagine where you would be in your career if you hadn't shot Jeter.
But then here comes Wesley and his crew.
Yeah. And they immediately zap Mark Walberg in the neck with the taser, and he passes out.
And then the same Brazilian girl from before that was giving Alan the doomy vibe.
Yeah,
you know?
She sits there and she was just like,
I'm sorry, my butterfly.
And then zaps him. And he's like, pack him up, send him out to go.
So they end up getting put inside the Prius. The Prius is on top of a tow truck. Tow truck's on top of a train that's going to Vegas.
Yeah. So when they wake up in the car, he's like, oh, shit. He's like, where are we? And then Gamble looks out and he's like, oh, it's the high country.
He says the high desert.
Yeah, the high desert. So then you see the captain in his office, which is funny because he's going over paperwork, but he has his gun in his hand, just like right up against his ear. Why he has it like that, I have no idea. But it's funny because the phone rings and he answers. He's like, yeah, go. And he's just like, Captain, it's Alan Gamble. He's like, all right, where are you? He's like, I'm not gonna lie, Captain. We're in Vegas. He was like, we were kidnapped and put on a train and shipped to Vegas.
Don't bullshit me.
I'm not bullshitting you, Captain.
He's like, I'm being straight with you.
Yep, being straight with you.
How many times have I asked you to stop going after Ershon?
Yeah, he's like, Ershon's targeting the lottery. He's like, how many times have I asked you to stop going after Ershon? He's like, Terry, how many times has the captain said to lay off Ershon?
Twice?
Yeah, Terry says twice, and I agree. He's like, that's it. I'm hanging up. I'm done.
But Alan's got a souvenir shirt on.
Yeah.
Like Vegas, baby, or whatever.
Yeah, Vegas, baby, Vegas.
And Terry's got one of those like tall souvenir cups with like a frozen drink, like a margarita.
So they end up back in New York, and they go walking in the office, and another guy comes out of the captain's office. He's like, Hoyts, Gamble, captain, wants to see you. So they go walking in, and knocks on the door, and he opens it up, and he looks in. He was like, hey, Cap, you want to see us? He's like, yeah, come in. But it's funny because Hoyts is right behind him. He's like, not me though, right? He's like, yeah, no, both of you, get in here. He's like, hey, this is, the DA. He's like, wanted to come down. And, and he's like, I've been getting a lot of phone calls about you two and some of the stuff that you're pulling. He's like, and I'm getting phone calls from people that I normally never get phone calls from. And in 40 years of enforcing the law, I've learned one thing. When that happens, stop. And then he looks at Gene and he's like,
do we have an understanding here?
Yeah, he's like, so I was telling Gene, and then he's like, well, he prefers Captain. He was like, yes, I was telling Gene that we have an understanding here, right? And he's like, yeah, we sure do. All right, from here on out.
Even the captain gets shit on.
Yep.
Nobody's immune.
So he gets up to leave, and he was like, hey, Gene, how's the family? And he's like, oh, great. Son's a bisexual. He's
terrific.
Like, terrific. Just leaves. So that's when the captain tells him, he's like, hey, it's like that guy, he's like, he's a rock star. He's like, wow. And then Alan sits down where he was sitting down, and he's like, wow.
I'm sitting right here.
And he's like, yeah, I think you're missing the point. He's like, in 20 years I've been here, I've seen that guy in this building once. He's like, never comes down here. He's like, hey, guys, some black and whites found your guns down by the Hudson. And he gives Terry back his gun.
And her shoes.
Yeah. And then he goes to give Alan back the wooden gun. He was like, here, Alan. He's like, no, you know what? I'm going to hang on to this. And he's like, to give me back my real gun. He's like, no, I'm going to give you this. And he hands him a whistle. He's like, it's a rape whistle. If you're ever in any kind of trouble or anything, just blow on that, and someone with an actual gun will come and help you out.
Which is funny because at this point, he doesn't have a gun, period.
Yeah.
Let alone an actual one.
So they go walk, and he tells them, you have to turn over all your stuff to the SEC. Like, he's like, first thing in the morning, you're handing everything over to the SEC. And they're like, come on, Captain. He's like, no, you're done. You're done. You're off this case. This is how I want it done. So as they go walking out of his office, he's like, okay, well, then it goes to Terry, or no, not Terry, Alan. It goes to Alan's home, and he's having dinner with his wife and everything, and he takes a bite out of the food and immediately spits it in his napkin.
Yeah.
He's like, what is this? He was like, he was like, this is disgusting.
He's like, this tastes like a dog's asshole.
Yeah. And she's like, honey, you're being awful. And he's like, I would think to myself, like, who would slow roast a dog's asshole and serve it to their husband? You would.
It's like, honey, you're being awful.
Yeah.
But then she's like, what's wrong?
Yeah, and he's like,
I would have been like, fuck you, Alan.
Yeah,
you're being
exactly.
You're being a dick.
This is very dickish of you. So he's like, yeah, Captain took us off the case and told Terry about my dark days in college.
Brought up some feelings.
Yeah, and it's funny too because not once did he say, I got tased in the neck and shipped off to Vegas or anything like that.
No.
So she starts, he's like, I just brought up some old feelings, everything. He's like, I need to walk around. I want some walking around money because Gator ain't never been about taking no shit. Gator don't take no shit.
You feel me?
Feel me? He's like, you see what I'm talking about? He's like, he has a split personality trying to come out. So she's just like, oh, I just want you to be safe and everything.
So she gets up and she's like interrupting dinner. She's like, let's go to bed and make love and just be safe so you can be safe. Like,
Yeah.
I'll keep you safe.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like this.
No.
He's
like, every time you tell me to keep safe, you're tearing me apart. He's like, I'm going to be who I'm going to be. And she was like, but honey, I'm pregnant. And he's like, who's the man that did that to you?
Who put that baby in?
She's like, he's like, yeah,
Gators bitches better be wearing jimmies. She's like, you got to leave.
Yeah.
She's like, get out of here, Alan.
Yeah, get out, Alan.
It's like, that was,
get out.
That was the line.
Yep, that was the breaking point.
After
for
everything that he's done, shitty to her, this was the straw that broke the camel's back.
So he leaves, and it shows him out kind of on a, I guess, just like a, I don't want to say a pier, but like where they have some barricades set up right on the side of the water, probably right next to the Hudson.
Overlooking the Hudson, I think.
Yeah. And Terry just comes walking up. He's like, hey, he's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, me and Sheila got into it and she threw me out. He's like, well, you're not a real cop until your lady throws you out of the house. Am I right, partner? It's like, so, he's like, well, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, I come here when I have lady troubles. So
pretty much every night.
Here every night. Well, as the Prius is parked there, these 4 homeless guys come up and they're like, hey, we're about to have a little screw party in this red Prius over here. You boys want to join? And Alan's immediately like, hey, are you Dirty Mike and the boys? He's like, how do you know who we are? And he's like, you turned my beautiful car into a horrible nightmare.
Like, you left a note in my car.
Yeah. And he's like, well, he's like, so? And what? And he's like, and then Terry holds up his badge. He's like, yeah, we're cops. And he's like, all right, come on, guys. We got to get out of here. They're coppers. So they're running away. And he was like, come on, you got to pick it up. They're cops. And he was like, we will have sex again in your car. It will happen.
But Terry's trying to get him to, he's like, you know what? He's like, we're going to go drinking.
Yeah, and he's like,
no, I've already got a beer.
And he's like, I don't even know where I'm going to sleep tonight. And he's like, well, lucky for you. I know where you're drinking tonight. Come on.
Poor Richards.
Yeah, he's like, drinks on Terry. Come on, let's go. So they walk into this bar.
No, it's not poor. Damn it.
Poor Richards is from the
office. God damn it, these Adam McKay movies.
Now you see where your mind's at. So they show up at this bar.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, probably. The Jack of all trades.
I think so.
So they show up at this bar, and the way that this scene is filmed is amazing because everything is like paused frame. But the camera is able to cut through all these pauses and work from one side, like from the front of the bar all the way to the back. And in each time it shows something, you can see that the guys are more and more drunk.
You see Terry and Alan, in different like areas of the bar. It's just one continuous, uncut, still scene of everything. You see like Alan smashing a mug of beer over the top of somebody's head.
Yeah. I think at one point he's biting the arm of a priest.
While doing a bar pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then at the very end of this clip, you see
Will Ferrell's on top
Alan's
of
on top of a pool table,
and he's
pissing.
peeing in one of the pockets. And Terry's just on the floor with his shirt unbuttoned. I think except for the top button, he's just holding up his badge like nothing to see here.
With the German
With the
Shepherd
police.
biting on his arm.
Yeah. So
it cuts to them outside.
Yeah, it cuts to them outside, and they're on their way to the SEC, and you just see Will Ferrell, and he's like, "Oh God, I'm so hungover." It's like, oh, I feel terrible, and it's funny because Terry's just like
Terry's fine.
that was an every night, like an every night thing for him.
He's been training for this his whole life.
Yeah. So they go into the SEC building, and Ben Schwartz, who's up there, and he's talking about what the SEC does, and it's funny because Alan's walking around, and he just goes, "Is that a wastebasket?" And he's like, "Yes, it is." And he just kneels down and starts throwing up.
He just starts hurling aggressively. And then Ben Schwartz, he's like, "You all right?"
He's like, "Oh, holy hell."
He's like,
"Sorry.
I got so drunk last night. I think I thought a tube of toothpaste was astronaut food." So for those of you who don't know who Ben Schwartz is, he is the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog, which congrats to Ben Schwartz because the sequel just came out.
Yes.
And I think it's doing pretty well.
Yeah, so then it cuts to them going inside Beeman's office, and that's when you find out that he also works for the SEC, and they're like, "We're handing over all of our stuff to you?" He's like, "Yeah, I can't believe this." He was like, "Your client's crooked." He's like, "Look, if I thought that there was any illegal activity, I would immediately recuse myself." He was like, "But David Ershon's a good guy." He's like, "We're actually playing squash tonight, and we're going to dinner." So they're like, "Oh, okay," and then he tells me, he's like, "All right, well, when this all falls through, we're going to come back and we're going to lock him up in the SEC.
Alan's like, "I don't think he understands this."
So it cuts back to them in the office, and they're typing up their reports, and very calmly, Terry just grabs his computer, stands up, walks out to the middle of the room, and just slams it down on the floor as hard as he can and just starts stomping on it. And Alan's like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "We just had to turn over all of our evidence. We got nothing. We got thrown off the case." And then he was like, "Oh, what? Makes you a big man? Huh? You a big man now? You put on your big boy pants?
Big boy.
You got your big boy belt on?" You're like, "Yeah, I'm a man." He's like, "What are you doing?
Why are you talking to me like that?"
It's like, "Stop it. You're scaring me." He's like, "Is this how you handle your stuff in democracy?" Nah. He's like, "I'm just so tired of you yelling all the time. It's exhausting. It's like being partners with the Hulk."
He's like, you know I get so angry all the time? He's like, because the harder I try, he's like, the more I screw things up. But what's funny is after he smashes his computer, it cuts to a wide shot and you see Jimmy sleeping like with his head resting on his desk. He gets up for a second to see like what the hell that noise was, and then he puts his head back down.
It's like, oh, it's just him. I don't care. So then they get a call over the radio, and they're like, "Oh, the financial district, this address, the 23rd floor, we got a possible jumper." And they're just sitting there like, that's the SEC. That's Beeman's office. So they show back up, and Beeman is out on the ledge, and you can tell that he is
clearly drunk.
Yeah, very drunk. And he's yelling things like, "Wesley, Ershon and Wesley, it's this and it's Ershon." And Gamble tells him, he's like, "I've had some negotiation training, like to deal with this." And he's like, "I'm going to need a priest and a bullhorn." He was like, "There's no bullhorn here." So they see a food truck. He's like, "All right, right over here." So he's like, "Yeah, we need to use your PA. He's like, "All right, I'll turn it on."
Like, why does he, like, he's really putting himself out?
Yeah, it's like, oh, God, I didn't want to move.
I hate my job.
Whatever.
He doesn't have any customers.
Yeah. So he turns on the PA and he's like, "Mr. Beeman, Mr. Don Beeman." And he's just like, "Wesley, it's Wesley and Ershon." And then he's just like, yeah, he's like, "You think that there's not a lot to live for, but there is. Like soda pop." Nice fresh can of soda pop.
That's when you shoot a can of soda.
Yeah. And then it's funny because Alan he's like, "Come here, give me this." And he's like, "All right, listen up, you piece of shit." He's like, "Nobody cares if you kill yourself." And then he's just like, "Wait, no, you're actually making it worse. You're doing worse than I did." So he's like, "Oh, yeah, no." He's like, "I'm not going to lie, Don. there's some people down here that are starting to murmur. It's like,
they don't think you have what it takes to jump.
He's like, I don't care. He's like, oh, well, I think that you can. He's like, I'm not saying I want you to. No, but you do have the guts. And he's like, oh, look, he's flying. And he just crashes right into a hot dog cart.
It's actually pretzels. When we watched it again.
Yeah. Is it pretzels?
It's pretzel stand, yeah. But nobody's manning it at all.
No.
So free pretzels for everyone?
Yeah. Well, immediately Alan puts his whistle in his mouth and just starts blowing it. So they're up in Beeman's office, and he's like, look, half drank bottle of gin. There's chairs turned over. He's like, come on, get pictures of all this. And then that's when the captain comes in. He's like, all right, you two. He's like, I told you, you're off this case. He's like, what? Come on. He's like, no, we have all this evidence here. He's targeting the lottery. And he's like, yeah, you want to know why he was calling the lottery so much? He was like, he was hooking up with the Powerball girl. You know, the girl with all the numbered balls? Yeah, that's why. She filed a restraining order last week. He's like, answer was right in front of you. He's like, there, the whole time. He's like, I'm transferring you both. And they're like, what? And he's like, no, I'm transferring you both. You, traffic. And he's like, what? And he's like, traffic. It's like, you're going to walk a beat downtown. He's like, no, come on. He's like, come on, Captain. He's like, no, you're going to walk a beat downtown. I'm done. He's like, I told you. You don't go chasing waterfalls.
No, I think was it that or was it no scrubs?
Yeah. No, he told him they didn't want him chasing waterfalls. And he was like, what? He's like, you're quoting TLC. And he's like, I don't even understand the reference. It just goes walking off.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. So he goes walking off, and then, it shows them coming out of the building. And as they're coming out of the building, Will Ferrell, Gamble looked at one of the other officers, and he's like, where's my police car, the red Prius? He's like, oh, they had to tow it. Some homeless guy started messing around in it.
Fuck, man. I think Dirty Mike put a tracker in that thing.
Exactly. So they had to go their separate ways. And at first it shows Terry, and he is working his corner at 54th and 3rd Avenue. And he hates it. You can tell with a passion that he hates it. Like a cab goes driving by and he kicks the car as it passes.
I mean, he wanted to be out in the field, but not in this.
Yeah.
Not in this way.
Yeah. And then it shows Alan, and he's walking his beat downtown, but he's also doing like some side investigating. Like he's talking about the building from when Castian got robbed. He was like, oh, yeah. He's like, what about, he was like, your building sustained some damage too. And he's like, no, not really. It's just kind of, a little bit of dust and debris. He's like, but some police officers showed up and they blocked it off. He's like, wait, you remember what they looked like? And he's like, no, one of them had an Australian accent.
Yes, that's what he looked like.
Yeah.
Australian accent.
So then they go, and then you see Terry, and it's really like you see him, and he looks like he's actually really starting to enjoy his job. Like he's really starting to like what he does. So
like it does this like,
yeah, he's dancing
or whatever, just where you can tell some time has passed.
Yeah, and he's like dancing in the intersection, and then it shows him.
He's
looking
got his rape whistle in his.
Yeah, but it shows him looking at it, the plaque, and it's like employee of the month for traffic, and it's going all the way down. And for October is Terry Hoyt's, and that's the month that they're on now, and he's all smiles and happy, and he goes, and I guess they give him an award for it. I don't know because it shows him. Coming back in, but roll right before that, you see Will Ferrell walk into Gene's office, and he slams the rape whistle down. And he's like, "Gator needs his gat back, you punk ass bitch." And the captain's on the phone, and he's just
Captain doesn't even question it.
Yeah, he just opens up a drawer and hands it to him. He's like, here you go," and he just walks out. So when it shows Terry coming in, he's setting some award down, and he's wearing a tuxedo, and turns the lights on, and you just hear 1, 2, 3, attack. And Will Ferrell tackles him, or Alan tackles him, but Terry immediately gets the upper hand because he's stronger and a better fighter.
He's pretty badass.
Yeah, and he's like, tap out. So he starts smacking him in the face, and he's like,
"Are you tapping out, or are you just slapping me?"
He's like, "I'm tapping out." So he's like, all right, come on. He's like, they may be watching the place. And he's like, what? Who's watching the place? And he's like, yeah, we can't talk here. It might be bugged. And he's like, there are no bugs in here.
Yeah, I've had the place fumigated.
Yeah. So he turns on the radio, and Against All Odds by Phil Collins is playing. And then it shows them laying under the bed facing each other on opposite sides. And he's like, hey, first off, I missed you. It's like, I just want to get that out. It's like, It's just like, yeah. He's like, well, what's this all about? And he's like,
did you hear what I just said?
He's like, all right, I guess I missed you too. He's like, all right, thank you for that. So he starts talking about how he's been doing this investigation, and he was like, you were told to lay off this. And he's like, I know, it's pretty tricky, right? He was like, yeah, he goes, tomorrow I'm gonna go to the captain and demand some evidence that he talked to us. And he was like, I hope you're there with me. And he's like, I'm not going, Alan. I like what I do. And he's like, well, yeah, I like what I do too. We're cops. He's like, no, I like what I do now.
I like traffic.
I like traffic. It's a good gig. So he's like, and the traffic guys are really cool. And then you see him and he gets out and he's like,
traffic guys.
He's like, what are you talking about? So he goes and they start turning on lights and he's like, yeah. He goes, no, the corner at 54th and 3rd. He's like, that's Terry's intersection. It hums.
The traffic guys, they're good guys.
Yeah.
It's like one of the guys, he can piss in a urinal from 20 feet.
You gotta see it,
Alan.
You just got to. So then he starts, he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm not going with you. And he was like, he just pulls out his gun and points at him. He's like, yeah, you're going to go with me. And he was like, come on, we both know that it's fake. And he points it off to the side and shoots a lamp. And he's like, apartment pop.
Yep. But then he starts like almost like hyperventilating. He's like, this is only the second time that I've
ever fired my weapon. And he was like, then stop pointing it at me. So then you see, he's like, all right, he goes, well, I'm going to the captain tomorrow and I hope I'm not alone. So then it cuts to the captain. And he has his hand up on a window, and he's just like, all right. He's like, this is going to be a crazy day today. He's like, it's a full moon out. A lot of crazies come out. He's like, let's look at what we got for hot leads. And he's got a clipboard, and he's like, oh, the new bath mats are in. And then that's when you see that he's at his other job. He's at Bed Bath & Beyond.
He's in a conference room with all the employees. Like, he's doing their little...
And they're so excited. They're like, oh.
Right.
Like, they can't believe it. Like, the new bath mats, finally. We've been waiting months for these bath mats. So then he starts telling me, he's like, all right, yeah, there's a serial rapist up in Crown Heights. And no, sorry, that's from my other job. Sorry, just ignore that. Well, don't ignore it. If you live in Crown Heights, walk in pairs. And then you hear his name over a speaker, and it's like Gene Mock to Kitchen Accessories. And he's like, all right, got to get out there. Let's do this. So he goes out there and it shows him and he's like, hey, and you never see who he's talking to, but he's like, yeah, I like to keep the oak cutting boards together.
He calls them chopping boards,
yeah, chopping boards.
I've never heard of them referred to as that. It's always been a cutting board.
Well, maybe it's a northern thing. I don't know.
It could be.
Yeah. He's like, yeah. And he's like, and I like to keep the maples separate. And that's when Alan comes up. He's like, hey, Captain. He's like, oh, hey, Alan. He's like, yeah, good to see you. He's like, what brings you in? Hey, you here for the bath mats?
He's super excited about this.
He's like, no, I want to know how come every time we brought you evidence for this case, you've been shutting us down or shutting me down. And then that's when you hear, no, shutting us down. And Terry is there. And he's like, hey, thanks for coming. And he was like, well, yeah, it's partner's code, right? He's like, oh, I thought you were working traffic today. And he was like, hey, let him lock the box, which I don't know that term.
No.
So I'm going to have to get in touch with some cop friends and be like, what does lock the box mean?
Yeah.
So
I've never heard it either.
Yeah. So it's funny. So he starts talking. He's like, all right. He's like, you guys went in deep on this. He's like, there are some heavy hitters here. And he's like, and I got to say what little ass I have left. He's like, but you know what? He was like, I'll let you go as quiet as church mice, okay? He's like, but if you call the DA and you bring the media in on this and attract all the kinds of attention, he was like, we never talked. Like, all right? Because I don't want no scrubs. And they're like, what? He's like, are you serious? And he's like, what? I don't know what you're saying. He's like, well, first you said don't go chasing waterfalls, and now you're saying you don't want no scrubs? He's like, these are TLC references. He's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. He was like, yeah, you just got to, go in quietly. He's like, got to creep. Creep. He's like,
as he's walking away, he's like, nobody says creep twice in a row.
Yeah, he's like, nobody says creep unless you're quoting TLC. And he's like, I don't even get the reference. So then it cuts to them talking about, hey, they're going to go and get Ershon, who is meeting with the client that he's investing with. And you finally get to meet who he's getting this $32 billion from. So it shows him right before the meeting, and he's talking to some girls, and he's, I don't know who the girl is, but it's so funny because he's like, oh,
he's complimenting her hair.
Yeah, and he's like, I love the hair, I love
like
the
highlights.
Yeah, and he's like
powerful but professional. Or what is he? Sexy but
he's
powerful.
like sexy but powerful all at the same time. And then that's when Wesley comes up and he's like, who are all these people here, mate? I was only expecting one person. And he was like, oh, these are just some people that
money too.
He's like, they just want to make sure they get their cut. And he's like, yeah, those gentlemen over there, they're the Chechens. He's like, and then the Black Chaps, Nigerian crime syndicate. He's like, you owe money to the Chechens and Nigerians. He's like, yeah, I do. And he's like, yeah, you're a real piece of work. So they go in and sit down. Well, Gamble and Hoyt show up, and they're like, all right, quiet as church mice. Going in, grabbing them, getting out. So they come walking in, and they're like, David Ershon, you are under arrest for embezzlement, fraud, and I think there was one other thing. But they're picking him up, and he's like, no, you don't want to be doing this right now. And you hear a voice, and they're like, oh, hey, guys. And they look over, and it's Bob. It's like, what are you doing here, Bob? And he's like, oh, yeah, the proxy vote? He's like, yeah, he's like, this is what it was. He's like, I'm looking to invest. It's like pretty aggressive maneuver, but I think it'll pay off in the long run. So they look, and he's like, oh, my God. He was like, they're targeting the police pension fund. He's like, that's what they're doing, and that's exactly what it is. So that's where they're getting the $32 billion from. So Wesley and his team pull out their guns, and they're like, gentlemen, you are here illegally and without a search warrant. We are within our rights to defend. And then everybody else starts pulling out their guns. Well, Terry and Alan, they have to get Ershon out of there because they know that all of this is illegal. So in slow motion, Alan throws up all the papers
as a distraction, and then he grabs Ershon and brings him down to the floor so he doesn't get shot at.
Yeah.
But Terry, he slides across the conference table on his back, shooting both sides, which is pretty badass.
Yeah.
But Bob, you see him a couple of times earlier in the movie, and Terry ends up just yelling at him every single time they have an interaction. And he prefaces this.
It's a bad time, Bob.
He prefaces this the cop pension, the police pension.
Yeah.
And he's like, Terry, what does he say to him? He's like,
he was like, what do you even do around here, Bob?
Besides interrupt people.
Yeah, he's like, besides interrupt people. And he was like, well, he's like, I'm the treasurer for the police pension fund, and I make a wicked pot of decaf. And he's like, that's right, absolutely nothing.
He's like, you're a
worthless piece of shit.
Well, you're probably right, Terry. That's why I'm so sad all the time.
Yep. So when he came to him about that proxy vote, this is what it was all for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're able to escape with Ershon. They get out of there, and he was like, we need somewhere to hide. He was like, we can't go to either of our places. And he was like, I have a small apartment that no one knows about. I use it mainly for my parents and for hookers. Not at the same time, because that would be
weird.
Wrong.
Wrong, yes.
So they get back there, and they're like, all right, you need to tell us what's going on here. And he's like, all right, well, the best way to do that would be to start
at the end.
And then go back to the beginning with intermittent periods in the middle, and then we go back to the beginning, and I can show you different character perspectives. And he's like, just tell us what you're doing. And he was like, all right, well, I lost a bunch of money, and now I'm trying to get it back.
It's simple as that.
Yeah. So they're like, well, okay, well, we'll just stop the wire transfer. And he was like, well, I'm afraid that's impossible. And then Alan chimes in. He's like, we'll stop the wire transfer. And he was like, oh, well, you have to be there at the certain time, and you have to be there at 9 a.m. You have to find the clerk. You have to have the routing number. It's like, it's just everything. And he was like, or you could let me go, and I will give you $10 million each. It's not a bribe.
It is a bribe. You're paying us to not do our jobs.
It's not a bribe.
Fucking love it.
So, and then Alan says, he was like, he's like, I got to go make things right with Sheila. He was like, in case I die tomorrow.
And like Terry's like, we can't leave.
Yeah, he's like, you can't leave. He's like, no, I have to do this. And then he was like, all right, we'll go. Say hi to Sheila for me. He's like,
okay.
Yeah, okay, I will. And he's like, hey, no, tell her Terry was asking about you. All right, just let her know that if anything happens, I'll be there for her. He's like, okay, yes, it's getting a little weird now. And he was like, what? No. He's like, Alan, if something happens to you, I have to be there because I'm your partner. He's like, I have to be there for all her wants and her needs. And he's like, why are you saying it like it's a predetermined thing? So
Terry's got it bad.
Yeah. So he goes to his mother-in-law's house.
He calls her first to find out where she's staying.
Yeah, he's right across the street from her mother-in-law's house. And she answers and he's like, oh, I was praying you went to your mom's. And it's funny because she kicked him out. So why did she go to her mom's?
Probably because she was upset.
Yeah. So he's like, and she's like, oh, where are you? I miss you. I want to see you. And he's like, I'm at the place where we did it 3 Halloweens ago. Do you remember? And she's like, oh, yeah. He's like, but don't leave the house because they're watching you. He's like, I can't talk on the phone because I think it's being bugged.
There's that damn Range Rover again.
Yep. So she's like, oh, don't worry. I have a way of talking to you. So she keeps sending her mom out there. And every single time the mom comes out, it always starts off with something like, hey, Sheila says that she loves you. She's very sorry. She doesn't know what happened and she wants you back. It's like, well, that's not all she said, is it? She's like, no.
She sounds almost like Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah. She said that she wants to unplug all the phones and all the clocks and have a 3-day sex marathon. He's like, okay, that's more like it. Yeah. She's like, and then she wants to walk wrong for a week because you guys did it so hard. He's like, all right, well, you tell your daughter. And she comes back in and she was like, he says he loves you very much and he's glad that you're having his baby. And she was like, is that it? And he's like, no. It's like, he says he wants to just be on top of you, riding you like a bucking bronco, staring into each other's eyes
without blinking.
Without blinking. She's like, I love it when we do that, Mom. It's like, so then
she comes back out.
Yeah,
again.
She has another message, and then it's funny because this transaction alone in the movie is enough to want to watch this movie again. So
the first time she walks outside, the guys, they notice. Wesley and his driver, they notice. They're like, no, it's just the old lady.
Yeah. So, but it's just so funny because, there are things that, and she even says it too. She's like, no, there are things that are just too personal.
Too personal.
Yeah. She was like, he was talking about, having a car battery with an electric shaver hooked up to a golf club. So Sheila finally is dressed up like her mom and comes out to be with him, and he's like, all right, I got a place we can go. So he brings her back to the apartment. Well, Terry also called Francine during this time to make amends with her because, he loves her.
They meet for dinner, and it's funny because during their meal, Francine says, I wasn't really sure about, if I should come or not because,
of the restraining order.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like he's a cop, and he has a restraining order against him. Surprised he still has a job.
Yeah. So, but that alone, he was like, yeah, no, he goes, well, this guy did some really bad things, and there are people that want to kill him, and now we're protecting him, so they want to kill us. He's like, I might be killed tomorrow. So, she, I guess, is willing to give it another shot because, Terry is trying, but it shows Alan and Sheila back at the apartment as well. And
Alan says, I want to break your hip.
Yeah.
Because she's still
wearing
wearing
do you grandpa style.
She's still wearing the old lady's clothes.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to do you grandpa style.
And then, she throws her walker down to the side. And then one thing you notice, after, when she starts taking her the clothes
jacket
off, she has the medic alert, the life alert.
So hopefully nothing happens to Mama Ramos tonight. So then it cuts to the next day, and they are going to leave Urshan's and try and get to the bank without getting killed. So you have Will Ferrell holds up a CD, and he's like, I brought some music. And he's like, well, not what I would have chosen, but, let's do this.
Yeah, it's Monday.
Yeah. So they go flying out through the gate. But it was funny because right before that, David Urshan's like, you want my gate code? And he's like, shut up, man. So
Terry he's just so mean to everybody.
Yeah. So they go flying out, and immediately there are people waiting for him. They're weaving in and out of traffic, and there are 2 white vans, And he's like, all right, there's Wesley. So he's fishtailing and hydroplaning through these vans. And, he's like, where'd you learn how to drive like that? And he's like, Grand Theft Auto. So the vans are in hot pursuit and they're, chasing after him. He T-bones one van or does the pit maneuver. It turns around backwards and they're flying backwards and they slam into a car and it flips over. But it's funny because you see Wesley and he's like, someone's been playing Grand Theft Auto.
And it's funny because it cuts to the inside of the car and Urshan, he comments on that. He's like, did you see with the van? He's like, it turned to the side, then it flipped over.
Yeah, and it went backwards. He was like, and then it flipped over. He's like, wow. And he was like, yeah, that's what Gator does. Gator flips vans like they're in a crazy washing machine.
Why are you calling yourself Gator?
He's like, oh, that's a nickname from college. It's like I ran a dating service.
He was a pimp.
Yeah, Terry's like, he was a pimp. He's like, yeah, I was a pimp. So they start getting chased by more people. And, the cops are in on it. And it's funny because when the call goes out over the radio, you got Martin and Fosse who are at a school, probably for 3rd, 4th graders, I would imagine. Because the kids are pretty young, like maybe 10,
8,
11.
9, maybe.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, they're given all these rules. And Martin tells them, he's like, look, statistically speaking, at least 10 of you are going to be dead before your next birthday. And then Fosse's like, yeah, and we'll give you some pointers on how to stay out of trouble. He's like, first, do your best to not be black or Hispanic. And then Martin's like, good point. It's a good tip. So they get the call and they're like, hey, we got 2 rogue officers, Gamble and Hoyts. And they're like, all right, come on, we got to go. And then they're
pass
like,
the gun up to the front.
They're like, gun. So the kids are just passing the guns. He's like, all right, any tasers? Do we have tasers out there? He's like, all right, who wants to go on a ride along? He's like, all right, you little girl.
Everybody
He's like, come on, let's go.
Hands.
So they take off. Well, it's funny because they're running from everyone. They're running from the Nigerians who have a helicopter with guys with machine guns.
Probably running from the Chechens.
Yeah,
Wesley,
and the Chechens.
and his team.
Wesley, now the police. And it's funny because Alan's even like, I think it's really unfair that they have a helicopter. So
he's trying to find a way to hide.
Yeah.
So he's not being chased anymore. And then he finds this like car lot with the 2nd level thing that you would normally have to drive up a ramp to get onto.
And so I have no idea how he got up onto this 2nd level.
Nobody does. But it's funny because the 3 of them are just like being super quiet inside the car. And then Urshan says, this is a very clever idea.
It's like, yeah, it was a good idea. It's like, shh.
Like, there's no reason. Hear him? Nobody's going to hear him. They're inside the car. But then Alan finds his moment, and he just drives off of this ramp on the top of another car below him back onto the road, and then they take off. Yeah,
and they end up out at Chelsea Pier, which is a top golf type of place where people are just hitting golf balls down the driving range. They end up out there, and the helicopter flies into there, and then Terry Hoyts is like, "Yeah, you were right. Them having a helicopter is definitely not fair."
But right when they pull into this place, they don't realize where they're at, which is odd. How do they get into this thing when it's got a big net around the entire place? But a golf ball hits the car, and Alan's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But he's got his window rolled down, and then he gets hit in the head with a golf ball. You know that shit hurts like hell.
Oh, yeah. So they're getting out of the car, and they're running because the guys in the helicopter are shooting at the car, and he's like, we're cops. Hit the chopper. So they all just start hitting golf balls at the chopper. Mm-hmm. Well, they knock the pilot out, and he crashes, and it blows up.
It looks like they hit him right in the neck.
Yeah.
That's my one weak spot.
So it crashes, and then it shows them back in the Prius, and they're pulling up to the bank. Now, the Prius is riddled with bullet holes. The front bumper's barely hanging on. They all go running out and into the building. And they even have to grab Urshan real quick to force him to go in the building, because you can tell he's like, I don't want to go in there because, people are going to kill me.
Yep.
So they make it up there, and, he tells the guy, he's like, look, Hoyts has the gun on the guy that's going to do the transfer. And he's like, no. He's like, we're not authorizing that transfer. He's like, do not authorize it. This is David Urshan. It's his transfer. The money's for him. Tell him. And he's like, yep, just do what these gentlemen say. And he never says, don't authorize the transfer. But then Wesley comes back with his team, and he's like, all right, boys. He's like, yep, nope, I'm afraid you are going to make that transfer. And this is where I kind of think that Wesley might be working with someone else, because he's like, nope, I got a competing bid. He's like, and they're holding it $30 million. So he's sitting there and he's like, all right, well, they get their guns taken away. And as they're talking, you just see Hoyt's looking at Gamble and he's counting down. He's like, like, hey, at this, we're going to do this. And he does the countdown and then immediately starts taking out the entire team.
Well, Alan just stands there.
Alan just stands there like, what are we doing? And then he was like, you just stood there. He had nothing. He was like, well, I didn't know that meant go. And then Urshan's even like, even I knew that meant go.
He's like, I knew.
So he holds him and he's like, all right, we got Urshan now. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, so you're going to surrender right now. And then he's like, yeah, who's got the golden goose? He's like, because you kill him, you're out $30 million. So he shoots Alan in the shoulder. He shoots Urshan in the leg and shoots Hoyt's in the leg. And he was like, he's still valuable with the bullet hole, mate. And then Alan's like, he immediately called your bluff.
Then Wesley goes like he's going to shoot the clerk.
Yeah, because the clerk's like, so did you want me to authorize this or no? And he's like, I'll just kill for fun. So and
he
then,
just wanted to be able to say, I shot the clerk.
Yeah. I shot the clerk.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out when you shot the clerk.
So that's when the rest of the police department shows up.
Captain Gene.
Yeah, and he's like, please,
with the
don't move.
With the kiddie show.
Yep. So then you see, everybody's surrounding them.
Including Bob.
Yeah.
Who's awkwardly holding his gun over his left arm. Like he's never pulled his weapon before.
Yeah. But I like that because you see Fosse on the steps and he was like, I hope you like prison food. And penis. So then they, everyone gets arrested and
it cuts to Alan on the ground. Yeah. He's writhing in pain. He's, but it's weird because he's holding his shoulder, but you don't see blood. Yeah. At all.
So you see the captain run up and he was like, hey, he's like, how you doing? He was like, oh, Captain. He's like, he's like, hey, Gene. I mean, Captain, sorry. And he's like, oh, no, it's okay. You can call me Gene when we're not in the office. He's like, yeah. Yeah, he's like, it's fine. And he starts shutting his eyes and he's like, oh, no, we're losing him. He's like, he's dying.
And he's like, no, I'm just resting. Just resting.
And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, hey, when it comes to paperwork, don't worry about this. We got this. You know why? He's like, why? He's like, ain't too proud to beg. And he's like, oh, come on. It's not funny anymore. He's like, what? What are you talking about? And he's like, enough with the TLC. And he's like, I don't even know what that is. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go check on Terry. So he goes to get up and he's like, I got bad knees. And he's pressing down on Alan's face
to get up.
Yeah. So then it starts talking and you hear Ice-T come in to narrate again. And he was like, Urshan is being held in a federal penitentiary. He's like, the government offered Lindell Global a buyout. He's like, because they were just too big to fail. And it was like, and then Wesley got arrested for the murder of Don Beeman with the rest of his crew. And he was like, it was picked up on some surveillance footage that Martin and Fosse forgot to check. He's like,
they saw the back of his head, but with Alan's face back. Yeah,
he's like, we could tell they gave him a positive identification.
But then it mentions that Urshan had to be arrested as well because of his wrongdoings, and he says, but now he's working with a different kind of currency, and it shows him
cigarettes,
right?
So what's so great? And then it shows Terry, and he's like, Terry married Francine, asked Sheila to be his best man, but she declined. Terry played harp at the reception, and it was beautiful. Apparently, he learned to play when he was a kid so he can make fun of the fairy that lived up the street. So then it starts talking about, how they're the other guys, and they're the heroes of this story. And then, it's funny because as they're leaving, like, this hot dog stand, or hot dog joint that they're at, they get in the car, and this hot blonde goes walking by, and she's like, hey, cute glasses. And Mark and
Alan's totally oblivious to it.
Yeah, and Terry's just like, what was that all about? And she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, what is it with you and hot ladies?
But you notice that they're not driving in the Prius this time.
No. They got a SS Camaro.
Yes, they did.
Runs 100% on vegetable oil.
Somehow.
So then he sits there and he's like, what is it with you and hot girls? He's like, I don't even know what you mean.
I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and he's like, who'd you lose your virginity to? It's like, all right.
She actually became a famous actress.
Heather Locklear. He's like, what? Heather Locklear. And he's like, oh,
you know her?
It's like, yes, everybody knows Heather Locklear. So he sits there and he's like, well, she was much chubbier back then.
So I don't know why he decided he wants to play down everybody.
Yeah.
Like they're not as hot as you think.
Yeah.
He even mentions at one point that his wife, first of all, Sheila's cute, not hot.
So, you're crazy. Your wife is scolding hot.
She is.
Even that Brazilian chick threw you the Doomy vibe.
But that is the other guys.
Yes.
But stick around to the end credits.
Yes.
Not of the podcast because we don't have credits here.
No.
But no, if you go back and watch the movie, at the end credit scene, it does like a deleted scene where they're in that Chinese or Thai restaurant.
You will hear the greatest joke in the world.
No,
you won't.
No, it's horrible. Horrible. This joke.
This joke is horrible.
Yeah, because like Terry's trying to prove that Alan doesn't have a sense of humor.
Yeah,
but apparently this is like the greatest joke ever. Yeah. And so he's like,
don't tell the joke. Don't ruin it.
Huh?
Don't ruin the joke. Yeah.
Okay.
Let them enjoy it.
I don't know if they're gonna enjoy it.
Oh, they'll enjoy it.
All right. I won't tell it then.
All right. So one thing that you can tell is what are we doing next week?
Let's see. He was over the line.
That's interesting, man. That's fucking interesting.
I could get you a toe by 4:00. Green nail polish and everything.
Fucking amateurs.
Shomer fucking Shabbos.
All right, this one I'm actually looking forward to. This one here is going to be in my top 5.
I mean, I look forward to all of them, but still.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't done this next one yet.
Yeah,
because
I know.
It was one of the first ones we had on our list.
I know, it was.
But another awesome episode. Another one for the books.
I love it.
Well, thank you, Quotable Nation, for listening, sticking around and supporting us.
Yep.
And until next time.
Loving every minute of it.
Quotable Podcast out.
Bye, everyone.